Hey everyone, welcome back. Picture a world where broken hearts wear bright smiles and shadows lurk beneath every laugh. Meet Azalea, an unforgettable oddball with a wild mind and a fearless tongue. Opposite her stands Grey, a tattooed enigma with a dangerous edge that makes her question everything. Their story is raw, unfiltered, and wrapped in moments that sting and sizzle. Buckle up for a journey through cracked souls, sharp words, and a fiery connection you won't forget. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Azalea, do you think I'll ever see him again, Mr. Tarrip? I ask, a question that honestly makes me want to throw myself off a bridge. It's been a week and a half of wondering about him. A week and a half of telling myself to stop thinking about him, to forget his awful manners and rude attitude. Who's Mr. Tarrip replies, and I feel like hurling a book at his head. Albuquerque the turkey, I say deadpan, and he laughs. Forget I said anything, I think I'm going crazy. I shake my head. I think you've been crazy for a while, Mr. Tarrip teases, and I point a threatening finger at his face. On that note, I'm leaving. I pick up my book for the night. I'll see you tomorrow, Azalea, he says as we say goodbye and walk out. I stay close to him while he locks up, and once he's done, we head our separate ways. Where's your car? He calls out and I wince. I walked, I smile. I told you not to do that, he scolds and I sigh. Goodbye. I call over my shoulder and I just catch sight of him shaking his head in disappointment. I swear he acts as if I live an hour away or something. This morning, I woke up with a bit of extra energy, so I walked. Actually, I've come to prefer walking over driving. Although I haven't walked to the bookstore since before the accident. Maybe that's why my knee is throbbing a little. I make it home and notice both of my parents are there. God, please give me a good day today. I open the front door and keep my head down as I cross the living room. I glimpse a couple of Jack Daniels bottles on the coffee table and close my eyes, trying to imagine the table as it was before the wreck, fresh flowers in a clear vase, maybe a few Good Living magazines. I should have stopped walking when I closed my eyes, but I didn't. For a kid, a father's arms should be the safest place in the world, not the most terrifying. The first thing I notice is the smell of alcohol on him, then the tight grip of his hand on the back of my shirt. He yanks me away as if I'm on fire, and the neckline of my shirt tightens until I'm choking. I'm sorry, I stammer, struggling to swallow. He lets go of my shirt and shoves me away. My knee gives out and I fall, landing on the coffee tables. I catch a glimpse of a Jack Daniels bottle just as it rolls off the table and shatters on the floor. Fear envelops me. My heart drops as the dark liquid spreads across the hardwood. The sound of his belt unbuckling makes my eyes fill with tears. Look at me, the sound stops abruptly. I reluctantly look up into his eyes. He hooks his belt back and I silently thank God. You took him away from us, he slurs, and I bite my lip to suppress a gut-wrenching sob begging to escape. I know, I whisper through tears. I know I did. Does he think I don't already know? You were the last face he ever saw, he continues, making me cry even harder. The person who did this to him was the last thing he ever saw. The dark, empty void inside my chest only deepens as my father says what I'm already telling myself. I go upstairs, his voice turns dark. He clutches my arm tightly and hauls me toward the stairs. Panic wells up inside me as he drags me past my room. He halts right in front of Jake's door. Please, Daddy, I sob, please don't. He pushes open the door to the room I haven't entered since the crash. Unrestrained sobs escape me as he forces me inside. "You're the reason he's not here," he growls angrily into my ear. "Please take me out," I sob, struggling against his grip. The pain is unbearable. "Think about what you did," he snaps, roughly shoving my arm away, causing me to almost fall face first to the floor. "You destroyed this family. I hope you realize that," he says as he shuts the door behind him. I hear the click of the lock and panic surges again. I spring up from the floor and grasp the door handle, wriggling it in an attempt to open it, but it's locked. The guilt from everything crushes me. I collapse in a heap on the floor, crying until my tear ducts are empty. This pain feels far worse than any physical harm my father has ever inflicted on me. It's infinitely worse. Leaning my back against the door, I finally peek out from behind my hair at the room. It looks exactly as it did the day I last saw it, except now it holds a crushing silence. A silence so heavy it seems to cling to the room and ring loud in my ears. The trophies, sports awards, and jerseys stare back at me, only serving to remind me of how talented and gifted my brother was. And I took him away from the world. He excelled at everything he did. Everyone loved him. He was going to college on a scholarship to play the sport he adored, and I stole it all from him. God, it should have been me. Why didn't you take me instead? The sound of the door rattling wakes me in the morning. I gasp and sit up, terrified that my father will come back into the room and do something worse than locking me overnight in my brother's room. The door opens and my mother steps inside, dressed in her work clothes. She's sober. A soft breath of relief escapes me as tears blur my vision. "Azalea, oh honey," her eyes fill with concern, and I silently thank God it's her and not my father. She sinks down beside me and pulls me into her arms. I weep into her shoulder while her hand strokes my back soothingly. "What happened?" she asks quietly, pulling away to wipe my damp blonde hair from my face. "He locked me in here," I murmur, burying my face back into her shoulder. "What the hell are you two doing in here?" "I thought we all agreed not to enter this room." My father's sober voice fills the doorway and my heart races with fear. I haven't heard him sober in quite some time. Usually by the time I see them in the morning, I'm already gone to the bookstore. Surprisingly, they haven't lost their jobs. I guess all the bottles of medicine in the cabinets downstairs help with that despite their hangovers. "Jack, what the hell?" My mother curses him, catching me off guard. I've always been too afraid to see them sober, terrified that they might be the same people when sober as when drunk. Maybe, at least, my mother isn't. "What?" He responds, and my mother pulls away from me, turning to face him. His eyes lock onto me. I can sense his stare, yet I keep my gaze fixed on the floor. "You put her in here," she snaps sharply while he remains silent. "I don't recall doing that," is all he can respond. "Maybe because you were drunk," I surprise myself by summoning a sliver of courage after all this time. "Excuse me." He narrows his eyes at me, which still unsettles me a little. "You dragged me up here, you put me in here." A tear slides down my cheek. "You left me in here." "Azalea, you're delusional. I didn't do that," he insists, and I stay silent. There's no sympathy in his eyes for having spent the night in my dead brother's room. There's nothing there. I must be delusional. "Okay, Azalea, I think Jake's passing is really just getting to you right now," my mother says, running her hand soothingly up and down my back. I look between the two of them. I can almost feel my shattered heart crumbling and falling into a seemingly endless abyss. I push past them both and head straight to my room. As I take a shower and dwell on everything that just occurred. If I could cry any more, I would, but my head aches too much from crying so much already. I study myself in the full-length mirror in my room, the scar above my eyebrow, the large scar along my shin, the marks on my knee, the awful scar on my rib. A half of me is now made of metal. 3 of the 4 ribs I broke had to be reinforced with metal plates. A tube was inserted into my chest cavity to reinflate my lung after it collapsed when the broken ribs pierced it. My knee was essentially rebuilt after I shattered the entire patella, not to mention the ACL tear, which required another surgery on its own. My shin bone, both tibia and fibula, were fitted with metal plates and screws, all on my right side. My shoulder and head were the only remaining injuries that were severely damaged, literally screwed up. My shoulder was dislocated and badly scarred, and I suffered a grade 3 concussion. I lost all memory of the accident until about 2 weeks later. The day I finally woke up and remembered what happened was the worst day of my life, and it always will be. No one knows exactly what transpired. Mr. Terep knows the gist of it. My brother and I were in a wreck nearly 2 years ago. He died, I survived. I pull on a flowing pale yellow sundress. I decide against wearing a sweater over it, though I'll probably regret that decision. Mr. Terep always keeps the store at 58 degrees Fahrenheit. He overheats easily and it baffles me. And to be honest, I think he keeps it cold just to annoy me because he knows I get cold easily. You're quite late today, Azalea, Mr. Terep chides without realizing I've been in the store for over half an hour. I'm flattered you noticed my absence. I smile softly at him. I've been over here trying to figure you out. He narrows his eyes at my figure. Figuring me out, huh? I giggle, shaking my head at him. You don't seem normal, he remarks, and I snort. I don't think I am normal, Mr. Terep. I smile before continuing while I have his attention. You see, I have this problem. Bear with me here, Mr. Terep. And this problem is truly unfixable if you ask me. I glance down at him to find his nose already buried in his newspaper, no longer listening. I mentally congratulate myself for dodging Mr. Terep's questions about why I'm acting so odd today. With a satisfied grin playing on my lips, I walk away from his desk. Settling into my designated little comfy chair, I pull out my book. I slip one earbud into my ear, letting my mind drift as I simultaneously listen to music and read. Mr. Terep constantly nags me, insisting I should focus on only one thing at a time. According to him, juggling both only causes me more brain farts than usual. He just doesn't get that I'm a national champion multitasker, a pimp, and a CIA agent all rolled into one. He's got nothing on me. Is a female pimp called a pimptress? A pimpa, pimpina. What do you call a female pimp? I ask aloud, directing the question to Mr. Terep. Azalea read your book, he sighs, disappointment clear in his voice. As I bite my lip to hold back a giggle. After an hour of reading, I'm ready for some adventure. Is there anything you want me to do? I ask, leaning against Mr. Terep's desk. He waves me off with a dismissive hand, and I resist the urge to stick my tongue out at him. Instead, I choose to enjoy the fact that my music playlist is absolutely psychotic, covering an unnaturally wide range of genres. Stevie Nicks' Edge of 17, Bourne's Electric Love, Queen's Too Much Love Will Kill You, Greta Van Fleet's Edge of Darkness, and Casey Musgrave's Butterflies are all there. I've got songs spanning from the Beach Boys in the 50s to Blackstreet in the late 90s, all the way up to now. But the usual classics don't tickle my pickle. For example, Toto is best known for Africa, a great song, no doubt, but it doesn't butter my biscuit the way Hold the Line does, and both are by the same group. Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 rocks, and Love is Like a Butterfly really hits the spot. The basics are solid, but they shouldn't be the only thing great artists are remembered for. Slightly bored, I decide to fulfill a dream. Cranking up old-time rock and roll, I head to the back of the store. Although I'm wearing a knee-length sundress rather than boxers and a button-up shirt, I attempt the risky business dance. Tom Cruise would be proud. Of course, I can't slide in flats, but the open space in the back is perfect for any dance routine. I genuinely enjoy creating dances. Ignoring the ache in my knee, I run down a tall row of books, trying and failing somewhat to nail a ballerina jump. I land just barely back on my feet. When I look up, I find dark black eyes locked on me. Well darn, he just witnessed the next star in Swan Lake. For a moment, I forget he despises every fiber of my being. I remove my earbuds and glance down at my flats, feeling my cheeks heat up slightly. For a second, I think I'm hallucinating and that he's not really here. Then I peek through my blonde hair and there he stands, tall, strong, and undeniably gorgeous. His gaze travels down my outfit, pausing on my injured leg. Hastily, I move that leg behind the other in an awkward stance, thinking, he already hates me, might as well add weird to that. Hi, Gray, I murmur softly, and his eyes flicker back up to meet mine. Good Lord, every time he looks at me, I feel like he knows all the terrible things I've ever done. What are you doing here? I ask him, anxiety creeping in as I worry he might snap and reprimand me, but I'm ready. I have a list of comebacks prepared. Comeback 1, your mom's. What's on your arm? He murmurs, his deep voice resonating in his chest and making me blush. He's such a man. My arm, I reply. Last I checked, the only thing on my arm was pure muscle, I wish. He grasps my forearm and I almost faint as his skin touches mine. Why am I like this? Am I experiencing a midlife crisis? He lifts my arm slightly and I glance down. A faint but definitely there bruise rests just above my elbow, where my father held me when he dragged me up the stairs. I guess I hadn't noticed it in my room's lighting, but here in the store it's clear. Well, I hit it on my bed frame, I sigh dramatically. He lets go of my arm and looks at me with a cold stare. Doing what? He grumbles, and I find myself hoping to see a smile on him. I can't even imagine how gorgeous a smile would look on his already breathtaking face. Sex, I blurt out accidentally. Oh God, forgive me. I'm literally a virgin. I have no idea where that came from. Why can't I stop thinking about sex? A dark, well-shaped eyebrow arches slightly. His eyes drop to my collarbone and I want to disappear into the ground. Sex him. He says, and just hearing that word from him makes me feel uncomfortably hot. Am I okay? What are you doing here, Gray? I ask again, trying desperately to shift the topic away from the non-existent sexy time. I need a book, he says, leaning against the wall, still staring at me like I'm a perfectly cooked steak dinner. I thought he hated me, so why is he looking at my goodies? Or could it be something on my dress? I did have chocolate for breakfast. Maybe there's chocolate on me. I can't just assume he's ogling my goodies. What goodies? I don't even know. He doesn't seem like the bookish type, more like the I burn books for fun type. But who am I to judge? What book would you like? I say, turning and beginning to walk, hoping he'll follow. Thankfully, he does. He stays silent for a moment. As I start to wonder if he even heard me, what book are, I begin, but he cuts me off with that same harsh, deep voice. I heard you the first time. Excuse me, sir, if you heard me, you should have answered. Oh, I've got the perfect book for you, I say as I spot it. I pull it from the shelf and turn to show it to him, being a nice human being for dummies. You think you're funny, don't you? His beautiful eyes narrow into slits as he sneers at me. I refuse to let him get under my skin. I saw that reaction coming. I've been told I'm funny. Well, correction, I've told myself many times I'm funny. I'm funnier than you think, I say, looking away as I place the book back on the shelf. I guess that didn't interest him. He seems like the type who just doesn't appreciate humor. Plus, you're way too serious. I curse my motor mouth, turning completely away from his glaring stare. I reach the nonfiction section and start scanning books for him. I assume he wouldn't want fairy tales. Tsunamis, a natural disaster. Nope. Inside the Life of Lady Gaga, that seems perfect for him. Monster trucks, who is he? 8. A fragrance surrounds my nose, and I almost close my eyes to savor it as deeply as it deserves. How can someone smell so incredible? It's not a heavy cologne, it's simply his natural scent. From the corner of my eye, he halts right beside me, his arm brushing against mine. Even though I feel like a borderline child next to his towering stature, I can't resist the urge to lean into him, to feel those tattoos of his. I step back to glance up at the books above me, but instead of focusing on them, my eyes keep drifting to his back. Never before have I wanted to rub someone's back this much. I must be losing it. His taut back muscles seem to beg for touch. And I'd be lying if I said his butt isn't just as tempting to look at. What am I? As a thirsty teenager, in the immortal words of Edna Mode. Get yourself together. I move down the aisle, attempting to divert my mind from his figure. Concentrating on the books in front of me, I almost chuckle when I spot one titled The Art of Paper Mosh. It would be something to see him read that. I grab the book, feeling quite pleased with my discovery, and turn to show it to him. Suddenly, I come face to chest with him, his chest, uncomfortably close. Why is my throat tightening? Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya. Holding the book out, I'm unsure what to do next. Normally, I'm not nervous, but around him, things feel different. His stunning tattooed arm winds around me, resting against the bookshelf nearby. I swallow hard, watching that strong arm that looks capable of squeezing me like a python. He takes the book from me, leaving me wondering what's expected of me now. He sets the book down somewhere behind me, and summoning my courage, I look up at him. I smooth the skirt of my dress, noticing his eyes trail my movement. The moment my hands release my dress, his gaze locks onto mine. Fuck, he murmurs, lowering his head. Somehow, as he looks away, I'm left feeling a strange way, like I want to hold his eyes on me longer. Are you okay? I ask softly, afraid to speak louder lest I upset him. I think you're lying, he says, raising his head, his dark eyes meeting mine and sparking a warm sensation in my stomach. Lying about what? I drop my gaze, but he won't let it stay down. The hand resting on the shelf behind me lightly grips strands of my hair. My throat dries as his touch sends tingles down my spine. Goodness, what's happening with my hormones? His other hand rises to my arm, lifting it to examine a bruise. Is he implying I can't handle sex? Or have it, whatever it means? You couldn't keep a guy around long enough to fuck you with that pretty little mouth of yours always running. He thinks my mouth is pretty. Wait, what? My mouth falls open as I gaze up at him, speechless. For once, I have no sharp retort because honestly, he might be right. On top of that, he's so vulgar, his manners are basically non-existent. You're quite rude, you know. A dark scowl spreads across his handsome face. He pulls away from me, a faint sneer curling on his lips. So he's allowed to say rude things, but when I call him mean, he gets all grumpy. No one leaves my presence unhappy. But not always, I interject. I know you've got some sugar. I think about running, feeling the deadly glare he shoots my way. But you don't know shit, his deep voice growls. I struggle not to admire his features more than I should, though I want to. Oh, I will know shiznit, I definitely will. I missed an update last week, my apologies. Finals have arrived and are in full swing, so please bear with me here. This was a pretty long chapter, so hopefully it makes up for the missed update. Thank you for reading. As Azalea, I make my way up onto the sidewalk of the town square, returning to the spot where I began, headed out to buy alcohol for my parents. Clutched tightly in my hand is a $20 bill, though I doubt I could hand it over to the friendly homeless man even if I wanted to. My father's threat pushed me into action. I wish I could just kick him right in the nuts. They wouldn't even let me drive here, so I had to walk a full 35 minutes from my house to the town square. Since the crash, all my energy has vanished. Now I can't even get out of bed without gasping for breaths. After what feels like another 3 years of walking, I finally arrive outside Danny, or Donnie's, shop, I'm not sure which. All the lights inside are off. Satsun 2 p.m. 10 p.m. As I step back from the door, struggling to keep my composure. I've been set up to fail. Although it's not like the man knew the hours, he's probably too drunk to remember. Frustrated tears prick at my eyes, but I refuse to let them fall. Taking deep breaths, I close my eyes and picture a large red velvet cupcake. I'm not heading home empty-handed. The last time I did, my back hurt so badly for a week I could barely move. I decide to try Red Street. Bars line the whole street, so unfortunately, that's my best option. Tugging at the hems of my admittedly a bit short shorts, I pull my arms tight against my torso. Gray clouds swirl overhead and my nearly bare arms grow cold. I should have grabbed a jacket over my t-shirt. Why do none of these little trips ever turn out right? The first bar I see looks sufficient until I open the door and spot a couple of women dancing on poles. I bolt from there as fast as I can. God forgive me for my sins, this is going to be harder than I thought. Continuing down the street, I soon find a place that actually looks decent, and thankfully not like a strip club. I step inside, faint music and loud chatter greeting me. Lots of people fill the floor holding drinks, while others crowd around the bar. Honestly, it reminds me of the movie Coyote Ugly, just without any women dancing on the bar. The drunk patrons become clearer the more I look around. One man stumbles over his own feet, while another leans heavily on a friend for support. I don't even have an ID and I'm not 21. What am I thinking trying to pull this off? I must look like a 7-year-old. Maybe they'll detect the desperation in my eyes and think, wow, she must be having a rough day. Let me give her some moonshine, the closest thing to cherry pie or maybe even peach. I sense someone's gaze and notice a man staring right at me. He's obviously drunk. Sitting at the bar, he holds a drink that's currently spilling because he can't keep it steady. It doesn't help that he looks at least 35. I ignore him and walk over to the nearest almost empty spot at the bar. My heart races as I stop there. I've never been inside a bar before and now I'm going to order drinks. What do I say? Hello, I'd like some cherry pie moonshine. Hey bartender dude, throw me some peach moonshine. I'm totally doomed. With my luck, they wouldn't have peach or cherry pie. Instead, it'd be something like white lightning, which my parents warned me is the most disgusting kind. Shout 'em out. A loud voice yells over the crowd and the chatter floods the bar. My gaze lands on the bartender, who moves at an incredible pace, yet never loses his smile. His light hair falls over his forehead as he bends beneath the bar to grab a fresh bottle of who knows what kind of liquor. As fast as orders come in, he serves them. Just watching him is enough to make my head spin. You haven't said a word, pretty lady, what'll it be? He calls out, eyes flicking up to mine for a brief moment. My heart pounds louder and I avert my gaze around, searching for any other girls nearby, but I doubt there are any. Peach moonshine, I blurt quickly, wanting to get it over with. The frenzy in the bar dies down, and now he mixes drinks roughly every 10 seconds. When I finally lift my eyes from my hands, he's staring straight at me, wearing a mildly puzzled expression. A strong drink for someone so small, he teases, and I resist the urge to leap the counter and show him how a small person like me can unleash CIA-level karate moves. Cherry pie could work too, I murmur, biting my lip. I don't believe cherry pie is any weaker than peach, but who knows? I'm no scientist. You got an ID. He smirks slightly, and if it weren't for the tall counter, I'd bet he'd regret that smirk. Seriously, who builds a counter this high? It reaches my chest. I glance down and spot a step tucked beneath it. Oh, duh, I step up, and suddenly it's not so tall anymore. My id's in my wig, which I left at home, I blurt out, mentally planning to punch myself later. No ID, he chuckles, clearly skilled. As if he can see through my practiced fib, he's been bartending a while, or maybe he's CIA too. How old do I look? I narrow my eyes and his face brightens with a smile. Zaw, he's cute, what an anus cake. I'll be polite and say 18, he nods, tilting his head. I flick him off discreetly under the counter. Newsflash, I'm 31, I deadpan. Damn, I was gonna say 30, but changed my mind. He slaps the table, and I bite the inside of my lip to keep from grinning. I guess I can serve you as long as you don't spread the word about my mistake. He shakes his head, embarrassed. I won't tell a soul, I nod, and he shakes his head again as he crouches to grab something beneath the counter. He pulls out a cup filled with peach-colored moonshine. I stare at it for a moment. Can I get a lid for it? I ask, and he laughs. What, you wanna drink moonshine from a sippy cup now? He jokes. One more remark from him, and I swear. How on earth am I supposed to walk home with an open cup? I'm definitely going to forget it's in my hand and spill it. Fine, I say, handing over $20 and thinking, freak it. I'm probably still going to get in trouble for bringing home only a cup, but whatever, it's better than nothing. I don't think so, says the familiar voice I haven't heard in a couple of days. I look up and see Grey, radiant as ever. He lifts the drink away from me and pours it down the sink. Grey, I grumble, and he turns toward me. What are you doing, Lila? You're 19, his dark eyebrows knit together in frustration, and I sigh. I was close, mutters the bartender guy, and I bite back the urge to attack him. I'm not 19, I mumble stubbornly, although I am, and Gray raises an eyebrow, resting his arms on the counter before me. Does he work here? Not what you told me, he says quietly. Can I get a scotch? Slurs a guy from behind me. His hand snakes around my back, making me flinch forward, a soft gasp escaping my lips. Gray slams his forearm into the guy's chest. My eyes widen. You wanna get handsy? Go find a fucking hooker, he sneers, and the guy's eyes grow wide with fear. I'm pretty sure mine do too. Without his drink, the guy pushes back through the crowd. This is why you don't come to places like this, Gray growls. I bite the inside of my cheek. He doesn't understand. I need moonshine, I tell him firmly. I avoid crossing my arms, guessing it'd make me seem less cool. You're not getting any, he says, his frustration rising. I'll climb over this counter and get it myself if you don't give it, I warn, and a hint of a smirk curves his lips. He leans in and I almost swoon, but I hold myself steady. Try me. I'll unleash my CIA moves so fast he won't know what hit him. Instead, I rest my head on my arms, hiding my face, trying to devise a plan. A gentle shove to my back catches my attention, and I lift my head from my arms. I turn around, only to be met with a large man's elbow smashing into my face as he starts a fight with another guy. My head snaps back so quickly I might have gotten whiplash if I weren't so CIA trained. Good God Almighty, that hurts like hell. Big hands grasp under my arms and lift me back. I feel myself sliding across the counter until I'm on the other side. What strength! The taste of blood floods my mouth and I cringe. My nose and upper lip are numb now, but I know the pain will come tomorrow. Unfortunately, the blood filling my nose blocks Gray's scent. What a shame. He turns me to face him, and I blink rapidly to keep my eyes from watering. I can't even think straight. Is he being kind, or am I hallucinating? Lila, the bartender from before, starts, but Gray silences him with a glare, and here he is again. Her name's Azalea. Azalea, are you okay? He winces, handing me a stack of napkins. I press them to my nose and nod slightly. Gray stands between my legs, and I'm glad for the napkins covering my face because I'm blushing like crazy. I pull the napkins away and look up at him. This is what you get for not giving me moonshine, a bloody counter, I say, narrowing my eyes. He rolls his dark eyes, grabs my hand, and gently presses it back against my nose. He lowers me off the counter, and I glance down at all the drink options stored beneath it. My eyes land on the moonshine. I reach for it. I pick up the bottle labeled peach, but then set it back down, realizing it's partially empty compared to the glass I was given. I grab the bottle next to it, relieved to see it's peach as well. Before I can tuck it under my shirt or make a break for it, Gray presses himself against my back. His arms wrap around me and he snatches the bottle from my grasp. I told you no, he murmurs low. He places the bottle on the counter and starts guiding me toward the back of the place, somewhere out of sight. He gently pushes me into the bathroom, follows behind me, and closes the door. I'm no longer worried. If he intended to kill me, it would have happened already. Besides, I could take him in a fight. I pull the napkin away from my face and peer into the mirror, standing on my tiptoes to see properly. Who designs mirrors this tall? I wince at my reflection. Good grief, I look like I've been savagely beaten with a baseball bat, or at least elbowed in the face, which feels much the same. The pain hits me and I let out a sigh. Turning on the water, I tie up my hair so it won't get wet. I already look wrecked. I don't need to add wet dog to the mix. Gray stands silently, eyes locked on me. What a big help. Exactly why you should just stay where you belong, he mutters, and I pull away from the sink. I belong wherever I damn well please. CIA headquarters, absolutely, Pimp Central. You bet, a bar, sure, why not? How many times are you going to tell me I shouldn't be here? I ask. As many times as it takes to get it through your thick fucking skull, he sneers, and I resist the urge to launch a punch. As many times as it takes, I mock him, catching the burn of his glare on the side of my head. Go ahead, glare all you want. I glare at the girl with a busted lip and a broken-in-half nose. I say, lunging at him to scare him, but he doesn't flinch. I will if she's being an immature little shit. He fires back, glaring harder as he steps closer, making me feel smaller despite myself. Big girl britches activated. Well, guess what? You're a big crap, I jabs, bam, take that. He grabs another napkin from the counter and presses it gently against my nose. I grab it and sigh. I thought it had stopped bleeding, but apparently not. Thank you, I say quietly. So do you work here? I ask, trying to make conversation while I tend to my nose. I own it, he replies. Whoa, look at big boy over here. You didn't strike me as the bartender, I ramble on. I thought maybe security since, hello, your arms are about the same size as me. Then I figured maybe not, maybe janitor, but you don't really look like a janitor either. Do bars even have janitors? Close your mouth, he grumbles, and I give him a solid glare. How old are you anyway? Please don't tell me you're 50. You look young for 50, but these days, who knows? Wait, don't say it, I hold up my hand. Let me guess, I look up at him as he looks down at me. I let my eyes roam over his face, no gray hairs, good sign, no wrinkles, also good, strong build, wonderful. 74? Nope, just kidding. I'm gonna say, I say, biting my lip while fully aware that his gaze drops down to my mouth, 23. 24, he corrects, clearing his throat. He's in the prime of many years ahead and I can see it plainly. Hot dang. Let me have the moonshine, I insist. Please, it's all I want. I'll give you anything you want. His eyes twinkle with mischief as he looks at me. I have this blanket at home, really, really soft. It's gray and it reminds me of you. I'll give it to you if you hand over the jar of peach moonshine, I confess. He doesn't seem as enthusiastic about the blanket as I am. What about, oh. How about I give you a free book from Mr. Tarrap's store? You forgot to pick one up last time, I say, smiling warmly at him. I'll give you a free lap dance. Where on earth did that thought come from? I sigh and lean back against the sink. Gray's wonderful scent surrounds me, but it does little for me right now. My eyes are fixed on his tattooed arm, avoiding looking anywhere else. Up close, the tattoos are incredible. His entire arm, at least all I can see, is covered in ink. Just beneath the end of his shirt sleeve are dark, scary figures. They resemble grim reapers in the closest approximation I can think of. Dark and deadly, they send shivers down my spine. The background is filled with shading and dark tones accentuating the figures. Did Pablo Picasso create these tattoos? My goodness. That tattoo artist deserves awards or something. Smoke trails from one of the figures, weaving throughout all the tattoos on his arm. A tree stretches upward, with dead branches spreading along his arm and the back of it, though I wish I could see more. Around the tree, crows are flying. The tree's base ends at his wrist where roots protrude with no greenery or bushes whatsoever. Everything is lifeless. Written words fill the remaining skin around the tree's backdrop, except for a symbol-like tattoo beside it. I try to read the text, but his arm shifts behind me before I can. That snaps me back to reality. With both arms flanking me, my heart races. Tell me why you want it, he murmurs, and I swallow hard as he stands close. Why is my mind blank now? At any other time, I'd have an answer. His hand moves to rest on my side, sparking tingles. Not literally, because that'd be impossible unless I were allergic to him or something, but it sets butterflies fluttering in my stomach. I want to get away from everything, I whisper. I'd never become like my parents. As after witnessing what alcohol did to them, I would never take a sip. I want to escape from them. I want to escape the endless reminder that I'm the cause of Jake's death, but I wouldn't do it by drinking. As I want to get away for a minute, I add, not elaborating further. I don't want to go home. I glance up to see his head bowed, eyes cast toward the floor. He keeps his gaze down only a few seconds before looking back at me. His dark eyes intensify the butterflies inside me. You shouldn't be drinking that crap, he mutters, brows knitting into a slight glare. I know, I answer softly. Before he pulls away, his thumb traces a single circle on my waist. What's your last name? I ask, swinging my legs back and forth while perched on the counter he so kindly set me upon. I barely know anything about him, and I figure it's time to change that. Kingston, his deep voice reaches me as he scans the alcohol shelves for the cherry pie moonshine. Mine's Carson, I tell him, and he halts, turning to face me. You've told me, Lila. A sound catches my attention and I freeze. I think there's a ghost, Grey, I whisper. My training never covered how to handle ghosts, and Ghostbusters can only do so much. How long have you lived here? I shift the topic but keep my eyes alert to the surroundings. Why? His voice lowers, and I look up to see him glaring at me with dark intensity. I just want to know, I shrug. I want to know more about you. You think I care about what you want? He sneers, and I hold back the loudest groan in the world. Why does he flip so fast? He was being nice just moments ago. You think I care about what you think? I fire back, frustration bubbling up inside me. And you wonder why I want to drink? I grumble, mentally adding another reason to my imaginary list. Fuck you, his voice turns deadly, and I instantly regret my words. No one's ever said that to me before, and I don't like it one bit. Is that all you've got? I grit out. If he believes that's enough to rattle me, he's in for a storm. He strides toward me, and I stare up as he approaches. He grabs my chin, firm but not hurting, lifting my face so I'm looking right at him. Why do you do that? He clenches his jaw. Do what? I ask softly. And get me all riled up, his grip relaxes and his features soften. You're the one who started it, I shrug lightly, biting my lip to keep a smile at bay. His eyes flick down to my lips. Don't do that, he warns, glaring at them. Why? I scrunch my nose. It turns me the fuck on, now quit it, he says through clenched teeth, and I release my lip as my cheeks flush. Well, at least we have something in common. He can turn me on with just a look. Turn on? Goodness, I need a vacation. He grabs the cherry pie and peach moonshine bottles, handing them both to me. Leave, he mutters, lifting me off the counter and setting me on my feet. Strong man, I like that. I peek through the small window and see it's pouring rain outside. So that was the ghost I heard. Duh, what a perfect time to be without my car. How fun is that? I start, unsure where to go next. So, like, you're just gonna love this. I don't have my car. Do you have a jacket or something I could maybe borrow? I ask. He shoots me a glare. No, he replies and gives me a gentle shove out of the room. I'm back in the main part of the bar. I let out a deep sigh and head for the doors. This sucks major nuts. Clutching the cherry pie and peach moonshine close, I finally step outside. The freezing rain smacks my skin, nearly sending me into shock. I'm actually going to get hypothermia. Then I'll blame it on Gray, and when he sees me next, he'll hear all about it. If I make it out alive, I start my journey by walking down Red Street. About 5 stores past Gray's bar, I suddenly feel a hand grip my shoulders. For a brief moment, maybe 3/10 of a second, I seriously think I'm being kidnapped, but fortunately that's not the case. He slips a sweatshirt over my head, the fabric carrying his unmistakable scent, and I melt into it. He pulls the hood up and draws the hem down as far as it will go, covering my bare legs. I glance to my side and there stands none other than Grey Kingston. Darn, that rain really does make him look incredibly attractive. Just shut up, he grunts, and I comply. He guides me to the parking lot, leading me to the passenger door of a sleek, tall, black Jeep Wrangler. He opens it, helping me inside with a gentle push. After I close the door, he goes around to his side. While he does, I breath in his scent, truly the most amazing aroma, and note the clean, tidy state of the car. He opens his door and my eyes catch sight of the shirt clinging oh so heavenly to his torso. Good Lord Jesus, that's something else, just wow. Gray, I say softly, and he turns toward me, droplets of water streaming off his gorgeous form. Thank you, I smile faintly. He doesn't reply, which is to be expected. He starts the engine, and panic begins to settle in. I close my eyes, trying to steady myself as the vehicle begins to move. I attempt to push the memories from before the crash out of my mind, but some slip through. Lila, his voice snaps me back to reality and my eyes fly open, darting toward him. He looks at me almost worriedly. Worriedly? No, surely I'm dreaming. Huh, what's wrong with you? He asks, furrowing his brows. I just shake my head. What? Oh, nothing. I dismiss it with a wave, though inside I'm still completely freaking out. Tell me where to go, he insists, and I obey as best I can, my voice steady. Diamond, 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 diamond suit. It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. Amen. The Weather Girls. As if you're unfamiliar with that song, I highly recommend giving it a listen. It's quite perfect. Anyhow, these finals are absolutely kicking my ass. I'm not looking forward to receiving the scores, but hey, let's just hope I don't have to retake any. Thanks for reading. Azalea, I gaze at my battered, swollen bottom lip reflected in the mirror. I suppose I was foolish to believe he wouldn't actually go so far as to elbow me. Though he did his best to convince me it was an accident, deep down I knew an elbow doesn't just fly up at someone by chance. I took away his alcohol, but apparently it was too late for him. My mother didn't intervene. She simply sat on the couch, watching as his elbow struck me across the face. And it's not like I can conceal it with makeup either. My top lip already has a small cut from last night at the bar, and the bottom lip now carries one as well, though it's considerably worse. As I breathe out a quiet sigh, I grab my phone and the car keys my father had roughly tossed to me after busting my lips. As I turn off the light and open my bedroom door, then close it behind me, pausing when I hear movement to my left. As I turn my head and there stands my father, still wearing the same clothes from last night. I swallow hard and offer a quick prayer to God. I guess he's too hungover to go to work today. Surely he's not still drunk. I hope not. Why so frightened? And his hoarse voice reaches me, but I still can't tell if he's drunk or sober. Why such a piece of donkey crap? I ignore him, eager to leave this place as fast as I can. I dash down the stairs without stopping. Once outside, I lean against my car, bending down to rub my slightly aching knee. As I suck it up and head to the bookstore only 2 hours later than usual. Are you feeling under the weather, Azalea? Mr. Tarrip asks the moment I walk in. No, I reply. Why? Do I look it? You might as well just tell me if I look ugly. No need to sugarcoat it. If you were ugly, I wouldn't let you spend all your time in this store, he says, placing his skinny hand on my forehead. You'd scare away all my customers. How kind of you to say that, I say, wrapping my arms around his frame, drawing comfort from his grandfatherly warmth. We pull apart and he reaches for his glasses on the desk, perching them on the tip of his nose. Squinting, he gently lifts my chin to see my lips through his bifocals. What on earth, he murmurs, noticing my injured lips. My exotic dancing training isn't going well. I hit my mouth on my pole. If I told him that, he'd likely have a heart attack. Who else would I turn to then? Here's the story, I begin. I was lying in bed when my alarm startled me awake. I hit my knee on my mouth. You need to get out more, he says, removing his glasses. My mouth falls open. I thought you enjoyed my company, I gasped. He nods after a moment's hesitation, debating whether to answer or ignore me. Of course I do. I'm just thinking maybe you could use a relaxing day at home, he shrugs, and just the thought makes me uneasy. No thanks, I say softly as I move toward my usual chair. I plop down and rest my head against it. The bell above the door jingles and I jerk upright. From where I sit, I see a girl, possibly my age, enter. I let her wander around and browse for a bit while I muster the courage to speak. Do you need any help finding something? I ask gently, careful not to be like those pushy salespeople who corner you into buying. Maybe, if I'm lucky, we could become friends. She glances at me and shakes her head. She's incredibly pretty. I offer a rueful smile at the back of her head and then head over to Mr. Tarrip's desk. Be honest with me, I say as I approach him. He looks up. Do I look nice, approachable even? I settle on the edge of his desk. Of course you do, he replies, but it's the kind of answer he feels obliged to give because he knows me well. He's biased. The girl comes over holding 2 books. Mr. Tarrip stands and rings her up. I keep my eyes lowered on my black button-down skirt. The bell above the door chimes again. I look up to see Grey arriving, as striking as always. My palms sweat at the sight of him. A single lock of hair falls over his forehead, and I've never wanted to run my hands through anyone's hair more than this moment. Have a good day, Mr. Tarrip says to the girl as she grabs her bag and walks away from the counter. I smile at her, but she doesn't notice. My smile fades as she passes Grey, clearly eyeballing him. He doesn't glare at her like he does at me. At that, I look back down at my skirt. A blonde hair falls around my face, shielding my view of Grey. I sense his presence nearby and turn to Mr. Tarrip. Mr. Tarrip, this is Grey. Grey, this is Mr. Tarrip, I murmur softly. Mr. Tarrip, I interrupt him. Shouldn't you be finishing your crossword puzzles? I guess so. Okay, I say, picking up his crossword book and handing it over. He gives me a sly smile before taking it and sitting back at his desk. At least now I know he actually listens sometimes. Are you here for the book you forgot to buy? I ask, looking up only to meet his glare. I sigh softly. Carefully, I climb down from the counter and walk toward the back of the store away from him. There's no reason for that glare, especially when he doesn't give it to the other girl. What am I? Jealous? She really was pretty. Maybe he liked her. That's probably it. As I know I annoy him. He reminds me of that often enough. Maybe I should just stop talking altogether. Moving toward a shelf with books to shelve, I pick one up. Gray's hand grabs the back of my shirt, spinning me around to face him. His hand moves up and lands at the base of my throat. He lifts my chin and glares. It's hot in here. That wasn't there last night, he growls, eyeing my bottom lip. Yeah, it was, I reply. It was dark gray, you just didn't notice. I lift my head and gently grasp the hand beneath my jaw. Good Lord, this man has remarkably nice hands. I lower both our hands, avoiding his eyes. Your book, I ask nervously. I don't want a damn book, he snaps, clearly frustrated. He could use a book on how to communicate better. I can't read minds after all. I look up at him. I wait for him to say something, but naturally, he remains silent. If he doesn't want a book, then what's the point of even being here? Does he take pleasure in making me feel awful about myself? I get enough of that everywhere else I go. This place is the only sanctuary where I can truly be free without worrying about others' judgments. Mr. Tarrip is the closest thing I have to family and a friend, and even though I know he judges me, he's always there for me. Then why are you here? I wanted to see you hungover. Well, I'm not, I say awkwardly, fidgeting with the book in my hands. I can tell, his deep voice lowers slightly. I rack my brain for more to say, which is unusual for me. I'm sorry you had to drive me home last night, I offer. I don't have your sweatshirt right now, but I can bring it to you tomorrow, I add, though maybe I'd rather keep it since it smells delicious like you and it's the most comfortable thing I own. Next time, drive yourself. That was way out of my way, he grumbles, eyebrows drawing together in a slight scowl. Well, you didn't have to do it. As if I'd known you'd act like this, I wouldn't have let you drive me home, I say, turning away from him and adjusting the book in my hands. I didn't want to hear your bitching about it later, he calls from behind, and I close my eyes to block out his words. That's all I ever hear from you, I fire back. Turning my back to him, my face softens into one of mild regret. He may be rude, but I'm not. I can't help but feel bad. I don't know what he's dealing with at home. Maybe he's been through some rough stuff. Maybe he should listen to my advice. I decide to turn around to see how he reacts to my words. Maybe he's laughing. He won't be laughing, but maybe he's not so angry. I've known this man for weeks. When is he ever not mad at something I say? I spin around and end up chest to chest with him. I feel like surrendering, leaning my forehead against his chest and falling asleep. I'm bone tired. I need coffee, then a nap. Heck, maybe even a spa day after the nap. Nothing else to say, he asks, pushing away from me. That's all you've got. He repeats the question I've posed to him on a few occasions. Gray, stop, I whisper, realizing I never put on my big girl britches today. I think they must have flown out the window. Not so tough now, huh? He leans in close enough for me to see the faint scar on his jaw. His tattooed hand lifts, tucking a loose strand of hair behind my ear. My heart races as his hand lingers on my skin, sliding down beneath my chin. Wait, he's mean to me. A full-fledged jerk, and he's gorgeous, but dangerous. Dangerously gorgeous, there it is. What am I even doing? I barely know him, and yet I'm letting him get this close. There must be something in my water. Why am I not pushing him away? Why do I keep questioning myself? I wonder how that nice homeless man is doing. Why do I want to kiss him? Gray, not the homeless man. I think, no, it's definitely Gray. With Gray standing so close, his hand tilting my chin upward, I get the perfect view of his perfect lips. I need help. I need a friend to guide me because I honestly have no clue what I'm doing or what steps to take. I've watched those movies where friends support each other through practically everything, even picking outfits. Is this message okay? What do I say to him? How do I react when he behaves like that? I worry Mr. Tarrip would ban me from the store if I kept asking him every little thing I want. Will he kiss me? Are we going to kiss? He loathes me. I've never felt more bewildered in my entire life. Gray? A soft whisper slips out as I lift my hand, hesitantly pressing it against his chest in a pitiful, confused attempt to push him away, or maybe just to touch him, I'm uncertain. He doesn't like me, I know that for sure. If there's one thing I'm absolutely certain of, it's that Grey Kingston harbors no affection toward me in any form. I pull my hand back. He lets me, so I suppose my suspicion was right. Now I lack the courage to meet his gaze. I'm terrified of seeing his stunning black eyes glaring at me once more. As I take a step backward and my foot hits a heavy wooden chair. I'm falling, I'm yelling timber. I land hard on my behind and a sharp pain erupts in my knee. Here we go again with this stupid injury. The pain intensifies whenever I try to move it. You're pitiful, you know that. Gray's deep voice reaches me. I press my lip between my teeth forcefully. Looks like that doctor visit is going to have to happen sooner than I expected. Slowly, I raise my head. I can tell the pain on my face is unmistakable, especially since he steps closer to me. He extends his hand for me to grasp, his expression bored as he looks at me. That's the kindest thing he's ever done for me. I take hold of his large hand, but as I begin to shift, I have to stop. A whimper escapes my lips as my knee feels like it's about to give out. This isn't good. Lila, come on, he urges, gently squeezing my hand. I can't, Gray, I reply, taking a deep breath. If I'm going to pass out, it better happen soon. This pain is excruciating. He bends down, his hand sliding up from my hand to my arm. My biceps, oh yeah, I bet he's never felt muscles like these before. What's wrong? He asks, scanning me for visible harm. My knee, I whisper, and he instinctively looks down at the scarred one. He raises his hand above it. If you touch it, I'll cut off your fingers and cook them into a stew. His eyes flick up to meet mine, a smirk spreading across his lips, and I almost gasp. Wow, he's attractive. Do you like onions? They'll be in it, I add, gritting my teeth against the pain. This isn't the orthopedist, I remark as Gray turns into the driveway of a charming colonial-style house. I hate to think he might be kidnapping me. How cliché would that be? But this doesn't look promising. Gray, I say, but he ignores me. Gray YY, I drag out his name. Sugar. He glances at me and I smile inwardly. His hand on the wheel jerks left abruptly, running over a pothole on purpose. My knee jolts and I wince sharply. As apparently, he doesn't realize my knee could actually fall apart. Your pain tolerance sucks, he grumbles, and I silently mock him. He parks near the house's entrance, and I look up at it in admiration. Is this yours? I ask. A friend of mine's, he replies matter-of-factly. You have friends? I ask, and he shoots me a sharp glare before stepping out and coming around to my side. He opens my car door and I unbuckle my seatbelt. Just like at the store, he lifts me effortlessly. As we start climbing the porch steps, my leg twitches slightly and I clutch the back of his shirt tightly. Where are we? Dr. Wernier is a friend of mine who occasionally does favors for my guys, he explains, and I listen carefully. Who are your guys? I inquire, and he falls silent for a moment. Friends, he eventually says. I wish I had that. He presses the doorbell and steps back to wait. Shut up, he interrupts. You didn't have to do this, I begin. I know how costly medical bills can be, he responds, and my mind drifts into a dreamy state. I know all too well how expensive they are. The door opens. Carter, Gray cuts him off, and Carter looks at me confused. I really like your house. It's nice. You must be wealthy. You're Dr. Weiner, right? I smile, feeling Gray's gaze on me. Carter snaps out of it and smiles back. He can't be older than 30. Dr. Wernier, he corrects me, and yes, ma'am. She's got a hurt knee, Gray tells him as he walks inside, with Carter holding the door open. I take in the beautiful house until I'm carried into the living room and set down on a dark leather couch. I almost want to punch Gray in the throat when he doesn't even consider my injured knee while bumping it as he sits beside me. I glance down at my skirt, riding up slightly from how I'm sitting. Then suddenly, a dark red couch pillow is pressed against my bare legs. I look up at Gray, only to find his eyes fixed on the stone fireplace, jaw clenched. How'd you hurt it? Carter asks, pulling in a kitchen chair to sit right in front of me. She fell over a damn chair, Gray answers for me, and I can't help but giggle at how much he sounds like a gruff mountain man when he grumbles. He always does. Have you injured this knee before? He inquires, and I sigh. He leans forward slightly, gently lifting my leg. I keep it straight as he sets my foot on his lap. He winces, noting the swelling. Yes, I leave it at that. Tell me how. Azalea, Gray interrupts for Carter. My patella was shattered and I tore my ACL too, I finish, and they remain silent. How long ago did you have your knee injuries? Carter asks. A year and a half, I answer quickly. Well, you got pretty messed up, didn't you? Carter comments, which was not what I expected him to say. Sort of, I agree. He doesn't even know half of what I've been through. It's common to re-injure your ACL within 2 years after surgery, he explains, and I bite back a groan. I don't want to go through that grueling physical therapy again. I can tell that's news you weren't eager to hear, he smirks. You're darn right, I grumble, now noticing Gray fiddling with the hair tie on my wrist. It's possible you tore it again, he rips it off quickly, especially with a sudden movement like falling over a chair, unfortunately. Like hell it's torn, not again, brother. His hand moves forward to touch my knee. Touch it, I dare you, I glare at him, sensing Gray's eyes on me once more. Carter glances back and forth between me and Gray. What a match, he mutters quietly. Just let me sit for a bit and I'll be fine in no time, I say, though I don't sound convincing. Lila, oh, Carter stands from his chair, casting Gray a quick look. Gray shoots a sharp glare at him and Carter simply strides through the doorway into the kitchen. I can and I will, I interrupt firmly, folding my arms stubbornly. Don't cut me off, he grumbles, narrowing his dark eyes. Now's not the time, sugar, I snap back, fully aware how much he detests that nickname. Fuck off. I can't, I'm crippled, you freaking crackhead, I retort, earning a loud laugh from Carter in the kitchen. Where did that come from? Struggling, I open my eyes and pull my head off Gray's shoulder, fighting a wince. You sleep like a fucking rock, he complains. How long was I out? I ask. An hour and a half, he replies, clearly annoyed. I'm surprised he let me rest on him that long. I glance down and notice a blanket covering my lower half. Your ass was totally exposed, he says, clenching his jaw. I puff my cheeks to stop myself from blushing. Was it quite the sight? I say, my eyes widening at my own words. From the corner of my eye, I see him turn. I meet his gaze and catch him giving me a knowing look. I'll tell you if you take the blanket off again, his expression impassive but his voice deepens slightly. My mouth dries and my heart races. God, he confuses me. Hesitating, I consider removing the blanket. Restless, I slip my hands beneath it, adjust my raised skirt, then pull the blanket away. Carter enters, and the blanket is quickly tossed back over my legs. I turn to see Gray shooting a displeased glare at him. Who messed you up? Carter asks, motioning toward my busted lips. Those words must be his favorite. Someone bumped into me last night, I reply, and Gray utters a sharp note of disapproval. Carter stays quiet for a moment, studying my eyes. Gray, he starts, turning to him, did you know I just earned my degree in behavioral science a couple weeks ago? I wanted to expand my mind, so I thought, why not? As a catch lodges in my throat, I turn toward Gray, seeing his eyes already fixed on me. They roam up until they land on mine. That sounds wonderful, I whisper to Carter. What does it cover? I ask nervously. Human interactions, expressions, thoughts, deception. I return my gaze to his. That would be the coolest thing ever if I hadn't just lied to his face. Maybe I'm such a good liar he didn't notice. After all, I'm CIA trained. That sounds super duper fun, I grin. I should get going. Sitting up all the way, I keep my legs straight. I recommend you stay off your leg, go home, rest, and if it doesn't improve, see your orthopedist, he advises. Of course, I nod nervously and he smirks, knowing he made me uneasy. Suddenly, strong arms slide beneath me, shaking me out of my nervousness. Gray's rippling muscles tense under me as he stands, carrying me like I weigh nothing, which is not true. I weigh 2 tons of feathers. Well, actually, 2 tons of feathers weigh 2 tons, so I weigh 111 pounds of feathers. I weigh 111 pounds of feathers, I blurt out as Gray carries me to the front door. How often do you catch yourself blurting things out? Carter asks, tilting his head with a respectful curiosity. Fuckin' often, Gray mutters on my behalf, making me giggle softly. I'll take that as all the time, Carter nods. I say my goodbyes to him while Gray remains mostly silent. You're really dramatic, I whisper to Gray as we reach the passenger side of his Jeep, a vehicle I genuinely adore. He grips my chin, turning my face so I'm looking squarely at him up close, I might add. Don't test me, Lila, he growls, but I barely register his words, too focused on his mouth moving. That is until he sharply jerks my chin upwards, breaking my stare. Don't, he warns darkly. I bite my bottom lip, and his conflicted eyes stray from mine, his gaze drifting away as if caught in an internal battle. About what? Maybe deciding dinner, chicken or steak, or perhaps spinach or regular lettuce. You need to go home, he finally says, and my heart sinks with a mixture of disappointment and fear. I don't want to go home, I whisper to myself. He settles me into the passenger seat before heading to his side. I try to keep my emotions in check, though the thought of going home terrifies me. Worse still, I can't even run away from him, which brings tears flooding to my eyes. Can you take me back to the store? I ask, forcing strength into my voice. It's closed, he replies curtly, and my eyes flick to the clock above the radio. Do you want a milkshake? I offer cautiously, my voice trembling now. He glances over at me. No, I don't want him to see how desperate I am to avoid going home, but I can't bring myself to leave. Gray, please, I plead softly. Lila, I've got things to do, he says darkly. The world doesn't revolve around you. I don't even notice the lone tear sliding down my cheek. Like I said, my big girl pants have flown out the window and are nowhere to be found. What the hell's wrong with you now? He grumbles angrily. As I stare out the window as we're about to pass Cobblestone Park, pull over, I command. What the fuck are you telling me what to do, foe? Can't you just stop being a brat for 5 seconds? Pull over, I glare, fed up with his thoroughly shitty attitude. He angrily pulls over, and suddenly it dawns on me I can't even walk. What the hell is wrong with me? That realization sends another tear trickling down my cheek. I'm utterly done with everything. I'm pathetic and pitiful, he's right. Come over here, help me out of this car, and set me on that bench. I point to a bench just outside my window, a little ways down the sidewalk. I don't know who I think I am giving orders like this, but I couldn't care less right now. I'm not leaving you on some fucking park bench, he snarls. Why not? You hate my guts, so why not leave me out there to maybe get kidnapped? Shut the fuck up, Azalea, he spits my name with venom. No, you shut up, I snap back, instantly regretting it as his eyes darken significantly. Why don't you want to go home? His gaze remains deadly, his tone equally harsh. What, do mommy and daddy not love you? I lift my hand, ready to slap the living daylights out of his handsome face, but he intercepts my hand midair. Oh God, that's even worse than me actually hitting him. I can make you dread every breath you take, don't fucking test me, he says, leaning closer to me, ensuring that every word lands with full weight. What if I already dread that? Enough, he declares as his tattooed hand reaches out, gently wiping the tears from my cheeks. I've been enjoying my summer since it just started, so I sincerely apologize for the long wait. Hopefully, updates will be a bit more frequent now, not edited. Word count 4559. Ashlyn M. Hey everyone, welcome back. Picture a world where broken hearts wear bright smiles and shadows lurk beneath every laugh. Meet Azalea, an unforgettable oddball with a wild mind and a fearless tongue. Opposite her stands Gray, a tattooed enigma with a dangerous edge that makes her question everything. Their story is raw, unfiltered, and wrapped in moments that sting and sizzle. Buckle up for a journey through cracked souls, sharp words, and a fiery connection you won't forget. Ready to dive in? Let's go, Azalea. I finish the last bit of my milkshake, deliberately ignoring Gray's stare. Especially when the milkshake drips down my chin, I'm certain he's silently judging me. Yet when I finally meet his eyes, it feels as if he's not judging me but something else, though I can't quite pinpoint what. Are you sure you don't want one? You look hungry, I say. He licks his lips just as I wipe my chin with my hand. See what I mean? He's hungry, I'm positive of it. The corner of his mouth quirks up slightly. His jaw tightens deliciously and my bottom lip curls inwards. He bites it. God, stop, Azalea, he mutters hurriedly. Stop. Stop what? I tilt my head instinctively, noticing his leg bouncing beneath the table. I'm sorry, I say apologetically. For what? I can't say. I release my lip and glance around the room. Suddenly, a hand grips my leg beneath the narrow tables. Don't fucking stop, he says with a predatory look. Before I can even blink, he tosses a $20 bill onto the table. Just 20. Gosh darn, all the waiter did was monotonously ask what we wanted. Gray springs from his seat, grabbing my hand and pulling me along. The large hinged, rotatable brace supporting my knee after my first surgery eases some pain as I try to keep weight off the leg. I'd gotten it from my car after stopping by Mr. Terrap's. I'd left it there after a doctor told me I no longer needed it. But now I need it again. I struggle to keep up while offloading pressure from my leg. Gray, slow down, I whisper, but instead of pausing, he turns to me and lifts me into his arms. Gray, I gasp as he carries me through the town square, then down Red Street. Hush, Lila, he hushes, planting a kiss on my neck. A startled sound escapes me. Am I dreaming? I must be. Is he drunk? Am I drunk? Was I drugged back at the milkshake place? Oh, Lord. He pushes open the door to his bar, and I catch sight of that bartender guy. Hey, buddy. I call out, and his eyes find mine. They widen for a moment at my situation before a charming smile spreads across his face. How are you? I call again, but Gray grabs my chin, refocusing me on him. Eyes on me, only me, he growls. He pushes us through the doors at the back, and we end up where the alcohol is stacked. He seats me roughly atop the table, then wraps his strong hands around my hips, pulling me close to the edge so our bodies press together. Flustered as usual, I blush and murmur incoherent sounds. Fuck, look at you, he says. His tattooed hand slides up my neck, resting at the top of my throat. My skirt rides up and he notices. His other hand finds my leg and he glances down. You can't wear these, Lila, you just can't, he murmurs lowly before tugging my skirt down to where it belongs. What did I tell you about that? His eyes lock onto my lips, and only then do I realize I'm biting mine. Sorry, I stammer pitifully. Am I horny? What does that even feel like? I'm not sure I even know. Pressing harder against me, he threatens to overwhelm me, so to create some space before I lose my mind, my hand finds his stomach. I almost gasp at how firm and tense he feels. Feeling his breath brush against my neck, I become aware of how heavily I've started to breathe. It all seems unreal. Did I somehow smoke LSD by mistake? Do you even smoke LSD? Am I okay? The kind of girl you'd want to chew all my bubble gum. Why on earth am I thinking about Paul Blart right now? His lips press against my neck and I emit a soft gasp. No one has ever kissed me here before. He delivers gentle, moist kisses to my neck, and I let out a sigh into him. My hand instinctively moves from his stomach to his back, sensing the tension beneath my touch and every breath he takes. When his lips find a spot just beside my throat, my hand clenches his shirt tightly, and I bite my lip to keep quiet. My breathing quickens as he lingers there, clearly noticing my reaction. His arm snakes around me, pulling me impossibly close. His mouth works magic on that spot, and I can't help but finally release a quiet moan. Even after his lips leave my neck, I remain entranced. He plants one final kiss on the spot before drawing his head away. My bottom lip returns to its despised position between my teeth, and at last he meets my gaze. His dark eyes lock with mine, and his tattooed hand traces a path from my neck to where my teeth grasp my bottom lip. Why do you get me so riled up? He asks, though it feels more like speaking to himself, so I remain silent. He uses his thumb to pull my lip from between my teeth, eyes fixed on my mouth the entire time. Before I can apologize for spacing out or anything, he clamps my bottom lip between his teeth. He tugs lightly before biting down. I gasp at the sharp pinch, but he immediately lets go, placing a kiss on it before I can speak. The room feels scorching, holy moly. His lips fully meet mine, and I come to the shagadelic realization that we're kissing. His taste captivates me. I probably taste like Oreos given the milkshake I just had. Damn boss, another one in here. A male voice interrupts as the door opens. Startled, I jump, the meaning of another one sinking in moments later. Out, Jonas, Gray snaps darkly and the guy departs. My heart plummets and Gray turns his focus back to me. I pull my hand from his back and lower my eyes, too nervous to meet his gaze after sharing so much with him. I'd been kissed before, a brief peck during a truth or dare at a birthday Jake invited me to, but nothing beyond that. You need to go home, he decides, and I can't muster a fight anymore. With the one arm still wrapped around me, he lifts me from the counter and gently sets my feet on the floor. His strong arm supports me as we head to the door. He opens it for me, which surprises me. Thank you, I whisper, but he offers no reply. Outside in the main area, I notice how empty it is, except for a crowd of guys gathered at the bar. Now's the time to become a pimp. With so many guys here, it's a perfect setup. I step carefully across the dark wooden floor, Gray still holding onto me, thank goodness. He's actually being quite helpful. Maybe he feels guilty for pretending my knee wasn't even hurt. I feel eyes on me, more like 24 eyes on me. Where is everyone else in the bar? Why are only those guys here? At last, we reach the main entrance. Thank goodness Gray doesn't stop there. Instead, he accompanies me all the way to my car. Thank you for helping me, I say with a faint smile, but he doesn't notice. It's like he's purposely avoiding my gaze. That's unlike him. Usually, he's the one watching me while I'm the one looking away. It was a mistake, he says, and his words pierce deep inside me. Suddenly, the world around us seems to go silent. The streetlights buzzing stops, and even the crickets cease their chirping. It's clear he's talking about the kiss and everything that led up to it. I can feel it aching in my chest. "I-O is all I manage. This time I'm the one looking away while he stares at me. Why does that hurt so much?" "It shouldn't have happened," he adds firmly, his final tone only deepening the sting. I swallow a lump in my throat as my eyes start to sting. How could I be so stupid to let this happen? It's all my fault. I deserve this pain. Maybe it's the world punishing me for killing my brother. The emotions I've fought so hard to keep at bay break free in the form of a solitary tear. I hope Gray doesn't see it, but of course, he notices everything. "Azalea," he begins, his fist clenched at his side, making me want to cry more. His voice is void of emotion, and he doesn't even call me Lila. "It's okay," I say, wiping the tear away with my shirt sleeve and forcing a smile with what little strength I have left. I clear my throat, trying to sound less fragile. I know I'm already weak in his eyes. "I'm gonna head home," I say, biting my cheek to stop my nose from wobbling like it does when I cry. I fumble getting into my car, which only feeds my frustration. When I glance up to see if he noticed me looking foolish, I realize he's already gone. That's when I release the flood of emotions I'd been holding back, the Niagara Falls of feelings, believe me. You're a fucking waste, my father slurs down at me. I pray it should have been you, not Jake. He continues as I try desperately to crawl away, too weak to stand after he threw me to the ground. Look at you, he sneers, crouching before me, eyes fixed on my knee brace. Can't even fucking walk right, you're disgusting, you're a murderer. His words push my back against a wall, trapping me in a corner. For what feels like the 900th time today, I sob uncontrollably. I am weak. I am pathetic. I am disgusting. I am a mistake. I am a murderer. You're a fucking whore, my father snarls, gripping my chin painfully and forcing my head up. Look at your hickey, you piece of shit, he says, pressing a finger to the mark Gray left hours ago. He tightens his grip on my face and I cry out in pain. His dark green eyes bore into mine with terrifying intensity. I wish you were dead, he says flatly, then shoves my face away roughly. I catch a glimpse of his expression as he walks off. There's a slight hint of regret in his eyes, but he doesn't do anything to help me. It takes me about 20 minutes, but eventually I make it to my room. I collapse onto my bed, utterly exhausted. The sharp sound of glass plates and cups smashing reaches my ears. I place my earbuds into my ears and switch on my strange playlist filled with mixed tunes. Your music taste is what's driving you nuts, Jake's voice calls out, causing my mouth to drop open. You're just jealous because you can't find songs this good on your own, I reply with a slight smirk. He tosses a pair of pants at me. Sadly, they're probably dirty, gross dingleberry. If you want me to continue helping you clean your disastrous room, you better keep your dirty clothes to yourself. I jab a finger at him, and he hurls blue boxers my way. I scream, oh hush, they're clean. He trails off uncertainly, and I shiver in disgust. Azalea Carson, Dad's voice echoes up the stairs. Jake and I both halt our cleaning. Yes. I call back politely, wary of making him angry. I'm heading to work, he appears in the doorway. This house better be spotless by the time we get back, he warns with narrowed eyes. I nod in response. Jake, make sure she follows through. Love you, son, he says before leaving through the doorway, and my eyes blur with tears. Jake's warm arms wrap around me and he presses my head to his shoulder. I'll help you, it's okay, he soothes. I love you, okay. He utters the words I've always longed to hear from Dad. I love you too. I hold him tightly as if he might vanish. Thank God he's not. Suddenly, I wake up and glance around for Jake. He was here moments ago in my arms. It felt so vivid. I hadn't had a memory that intense in some time. Those memories drain the most from me, reminding me how much I lost after Jake passed. I look at the clock. It's only 3:30 in the morning. I'm scared to fall back asleep because I know another dream awaits, maybe an even worse one. My thoughts drift toward the crash day, but I stop them immediately. The last time I revisited that day, it kept repeating on a loop I couldn't escape. The images appeared while I was awake and were far worse in sleep. Pictures of his lifeless bod. I stop abruptly. I stay wide awake until my alarm sounds. Once it goes off, I sluggishly climb out of bed. I shower while struggling to maintain balance on my single functioning leg. I pull on a white sundress with short sleeves, preferring casual wear. Dresses are easier when I can't bend one knee. Opening my closet, I grab a light pink sweater since it's a bit chilly today. I catch sight of my crutches tucked at the back of the closet, but silently flip them the middle finger. Though walking is tough, I refuse to use those cursed things. I sit on my bed and reach for a pair of tan sandals. One slides on easily, the other doesn't. Gritting my teeth against pain and frustration, I try to get the shoe onto my damned foot. Painful memories flood back from the daily struggle after the accident. I let my hair air dry until it falls into its natural, slightly wavy shape. I almost leave, but then remember something. Heading to the bathroom, I conceal the hickey on my neck. What a leech, I'm still very upset with myself. How can I go from being angry at him to acting all horny? If that's even a word, I have no clue, I'm not a dictionary. Then, to make matters worse, someone Lord knows who saw me stumbling my way out of his bar. He often talks about his friends. Perhaps all those men were indeed his friends. I can't help but feel envious of him. He has people to support him whenever he faces difficulties of any sort. I had to recover from a fatal crash entirely on my own. And carefully, I navigate the glass-covered floor to reach the front door. I grab my keys and head out. I enter the store at a slow pace, trying to mask the pain on my face. The last thing I want is for Mr. Tarrip to worry about me. He doesn't deserve to be burdened by my problems. I barely matter. As I find my chair and sit down, exhaling deeply as I do. "No, hello, Mr. Tarrip," he asks, stopping beside me. "I'm sorry," I reply with an apologetic smile. He settles on the arm of my chair. "What's wrong, darling? What's brought you to this state?" His voice is soothing. "I want him back," I say, my eyes closed so he won't see they're starting to water. "I've already cried in front of 2 people this week. I don't want to be a third." My heart it doesn't feel right, I murmur, unsure of how to express myself. "It hurts, it's heavy. It feels like nothing can ease the pain, mister." Tarrip completes my thought, the words I can't bring myself to say. "You can't keep what you've experienced bottled up inside," he admits. "It's haunting you, darling, I can see it." I rest my head on his side, and he gently brushes my hair away from my forehead. "I don't want it to haunt anyone else," I whisper, voicing the thoughts I've carried since the accident. "Have you thought about how others might feel? Maybe they don't want it to haunt you. I know I don't. Aaron doesn't, he really doesn't. Surely your parents don't either," he says. "My parents make sure it haunts me. My father never misses an opportunity to remind me that I killed my brother. You and Aaron shouldn't have to hear that," I tell him. "I want their memories of my brother to remain happy and perfect." "You're too kind," he says, kissing my head before returning to his tasks. "What about that guy who was here?" "You two seemed close." He changes the topic and my mood shifts. "I could tell he couldn't take his eyes off you." He nudges my shoulder. "He was probably just thinking how irritating I am." "I don't think he'll be coming around anymore," I sigh, noticing Mr. Tarrip's eyebrows knit in concern. "But I thought you two were friends." "I'm incapable of making friends," I bite my cheek. "I think I'm done," I confess to him. "What happened? You seemed fine together, especially when he was carrying you out of here." His tone teases, bringing a faint smile to my lips. "And it was a mistake, it shouldn't have happened. Our personalities clashed," I say as I stand. "I'm going to look for any misplaced books." I turn away so he can't see my eyes watering. I focus on the books, and before long my thoughts drift completely. Maybe it's better that Gray and I don't know each other. We're total opposites. Besides, he's not the kindest person I've met. Yet why do I feel so drawn to him? Thank you for reading. The guy in the gif is Aaron Yall. That is not Grey lol. Why would I cast Grey as him? Azalea. I twist and turn my torso, catching glimpses of myself in the mirror inside the bookstore's bathroom. Spending these last 2.5 weeks away from the man whose name I dare not think of has given my conscience plenty of time to invent reasons why everything went wrong. I've decided that I'm just not all that fun to be around. I'm irritating and plain to look at least I still have myself to cheer me up. I smooth down my light denim skirt and silently curse Grey Kingston. Who does he think he is, telling me not to wear skirts? He can throw himself in a dumpster for all I care. Actually, I do care, or maybe I don't. I wish I didn't, even though I don't. I turn toward the toilet, remove the toilet paper roll from its holder, and place it gently on the floor. Sitting on the closed toilet, I use my uninjured leg to kick the nasty mess out of it. I picture Gray's handsome face on the roll and give it another kick. Grasshole, big butthead. A freakin' party pooper, stupid gorgeous mother trucker, I groan, resting my head in my hands. Normally, after 2 weeks, the guy is supposed to drift out of your mind. And especially when you've been venting your frustration on pillows and, of course, toilet paper rolls. I pick up the roll and toss it in the trash. What a waste, sorry Jesus. Nobody wants to wipe their butt with dirty typee. Unless that's your thing, yikes. I grab a fresh roll from beneath the sink and put it back in place. Running my fingers through my long blonde hair, I head out of the bathroom. My knee is better. I'm convinced I only injured my ACL and didn't tear it. I still walk like a pirate, but at least a little less now, I guess. With a shipment of books that arrived just yesterday, I've been busy these past couple of days. I drag the heavy cart to the section where I last left off and pick up a book, examining its cover. Suddenly, the cart begins to roll away from me. There's a ghost. I place my hand on the handle and glance up to see the spirit. Aaron's mischievous blue eyes meet mine. Honestly, I kind of missed him. He's basically a friend, I guess. He starts moving around the cart and I circle it as well. We stand at opposite ends. A smirk tugs at his lips, showing a dimple on his cheek. Someone's playful today. His melodic voice makes a small smile form on my lips. He moves again, and because I'm slower due to my injury, he catches my arm and pulls me toward him. He hugs me and I laugh softly at his cuddly side. I missed you, Aaron. I bite my lip, trying to hold back a laugh. You missed me? His voice rumbles against me. I'll have to come around more often then. I missed you too, Azzy. We pull apart and he looks down at my leg. What happened, Azalea? He bends to place his hand just below the brace. I fell over a chair. I can't do anything with myself, I sigh. I've been having a rough time. He looks up at me, a smile spreading over his face. His dimples are so cute, I just want to squeeze his cheeks. I know he notices my hands tightening at my sides. He knows what that means. Go ahead, he mutters, playfully rolling his eyes. I grab his cheeks and start acting like a grandmother fussing over her grandchild. It still bruises my ego that you're the only one who finds me adorable rather than attractive. He pouts as he gets up. Your tiny squeezy hands. He mimics how I squeeze my hands and I gently push him. Why are you having such a hard time? He tilts his head inquisitively and I press my lips together. How's college been? Good. I shift the topic, grabbing some books. Jake used to do that, don't you start it too? He remarks and I glance downward. Jake was a master at diverting conversations. We could be discussing his game one moment and then, suddenly, what I plan to wear the next day. He disliked talking about himself. I even had to punch him a few times for it. We should grab lunch. I clap my hands. I definitely need something to eat so I can avoid talking so much. Fine, he sighs. Bad idea. Really bad. Terrible. I should have chosen the place to eat. I'm about to throw up. You look pale, he says, helping me out of my car after telling me where we're headed. Gray's is a bar by night, a restaurant by day. Maybe we should go to McDonald's, I suggest, and he scoffs. McDonald's makes me shit, he explains. Why not somewhere else? I ask as he guides me nearer and nearer to Gray's bar. Because this one is the nicest looking place I see in my view, he says, pulling me past the bench where I met Gray. I narrow my eyes at that stupid bench. I don't like this place, I mutter, though I know it's useless as he swings the door open. I keep my head lowered, making sure my hair hides most of my face. I sneak a glance around and notice that instead of the usual mostly cleared floor, tables are scattered everywhere and the lights are brighter than usual. My eyes find the door gray and I entered through and I clench my fists. Suddenly, Aaron stops and I bump into his back. Still, I keep my head down. Table for two. A familiar voice asks, and I squeeze my eyes shut in frustration. Peeking up, the bartender gives me a sly smirk. I have to get out of here. I follow Aaron's back to our table, relieved that we're tucked away in a back corner, not out in the open. He sets our menus down in front of us. I'll be back soon to get your drinks, he says with a smile before walking off slowly. I note, maybe I'm overreacting. Gray probably isn't here. He owns the place. He can do whatever he wants whenever he wants. What's wrong with you? Aaron's amused voice asks after noticing my downcast head. I've had to sneeze for 10 minutes and I don't want to look at the lights and have it slip out. I explain smoothly and he just shakes his head. I need to pee. I wrinkle my nose at him. I'll be back, Azzy. Order me a lemonade. I bury my face in my hands, holding back a scream. No break for me. You want another moonshine? The bartender's voice startles me. I jolt, shaking the table, and the salt and pepper shakers tilt over. Yep, white lightnin' this time, I joke, setting the shakers upright. He takes Aaron's seat. Gray's not here, he says with a teasing smile. Well, good, I reply. I glance down at the name tag pinned to his black shirt. It reads Jai, but I say it differently as Jai. He laughs quietly. Jai, he corrects, pronouncing his own name as Jay. I couldn't care less if he was here, Jai, I say, almost messing up his name on purpose to be petty. Tell him next time you see him to eat dirt and belly flop on the cement. I cross my arms defiantly. No, don't tell him I said that. Are you nuts? I scoff. I'm not about to run away, so no, I add. He chuckles, shaking his head and scrunching his nose. You're something else, he says, resting his cheek on his hand. What do you want to drink? Water, and he wants lemonade, I say, nodding toward Jai. Who is that anyway? He asks. My dog's boyfriend's cousin's aunt, I reply with a shrug. He's a friend, I guess. You guess. His eyebrows lift. Well, it's not exactly set in stone whether he's my friend or not. Don't judge me, bud. Aaron comes back to our table just as Jai stands, apologizing for taking his seat. I'll get your drinks, Jai says, taking his order pad, though he probably didn't actually write anything down. He walks away. He seemed friendly, Aaron comments as Jai goes to fetch our drinks. Do you know him or something? As if I told him I know him because I asked for an alcoholic drink, he'd have a heart attack, then scold me, then have another heart attack. He's my hooker. As after that slips out, Aaron and I go silent. God, you're wild, he laughs as Jai returns with our drinks. Jai leans down on my end of the table. As I'm about to throw a tantrum here in front of everyone and God. Can I get a salad, but not one of those with kale, you know? I don't want lettuce either, especially iceberg lettuce makes me sick. So a spinach salad is good if you have it. Oh, and ranch, lots of ranch. I don't even like salad that much. I babble, desperate to distract myself from thinking about Gray. I want to get out of here before he returns. Aaron, order, what do you want? I nudge him, biting my bottom lip anxiously. Azzy, I haven't looked at the menu. He'll have some chicken or whatever, I say, grabbing both menus and handing them to Jai, who's trying not to smile. I catch Aaron's eyes. What's got you in a hurry? He grabs both my hands worriedly. I have church to attend, I respond, playing it classy for once. I was tempted to say I had to poop, but that wouldn't make sense with a bathroom here. On a Thursday afternoon, yes, I hold my own service in my car, I say, nodding. I'm a child of God, I add with an innocent grin. Then you can have it any time, right? Since you run the service, he teases. Listen, God's a busy man, okay? I begin. He and I have a schedule, I say firmly. We wait, I peer out the window nervously, watching for any sign of a jerk, or I should say the jerk. A part of me wants to see him just to give him a piece of my mind. Part of me wants to pee my pants at the thought of his dark eyes glaring at me so maliciously, just like every time he catches sight of me. And how long could it possibly take to toss some spinach into a bowl? How are your parents? Wonderful, I reply, trying to keep my voice steady. I'm so tense, it feels as if I'm awaiting my impending doom. After what feels like a solid 15 minutes, here finally comes the slowpoke Jai. He sets the salad down in front of me, drenched in ranch, 3 cups of it. Then he hands Aaron his chicken, seasoned and sauced in some way that makes me think I should have ordered that instead. I pour all the ranch cups into my bowl and Aaron shakes his head at me. I'm about to devour this food like Patrick. Want some salad with that ranch? He teases. I tap my foot under the table, chewing my bottom lip while waiting for the world's slowest eater to finish his surprisingly small portion of chicken. I can feel your eyes on me, he smirks, glancing up from his food to look at me. Aaron, please stop talking and just eat, I plead. Darling, I know something's wrong, he says, setting down his fork. Is it because Jake used to come here? He asks softly, and I mask my shock. He used to come here. Yeah, I murmur, lowering my head to hide the guilt I know is clouding my eyes. For the next 5 minutes, he actually shovels food into his mouth. Jai soon approaches our table, and Aaron, being kind as always, pays for both of us. I'd forgotten I only had $3 on me. Finally, we leave, and I sigh with utter relief once we step outside. All my stress drifts away as I close my eyes and inhale the cool afternoon air. As I reach for my phone to check the time, only to realize it's no longer with me. I stop dead in my tracks and almost slump to the ground, overwhelmed by my own defeat. Are you okay? Is your knee hurting? Aaron stops with me. I forgot something at the restaurant, I say softly. I can go get it for you, he offers, placing a hand on my shoulder. I give him a grateful smile until my eyes catch sight of Grey Kingston from behind. Just as he's turning a corner, I see him. No, no, I quickly reassure Aaron, I'll go get it, don't worry. But your knee, I walk away, though I feel guilty. Inside the restaurant, there are booths to hide in, but out here in the open town square, the only concealment I have is behind Aaron in my predicament. I return inside and head straight to the table where Aaron and I had been sitting, only to find it cleared and cleaned. These people really are fast. I scan the room for Jai and finally spot him emerging from doors likely leading to the kitchen. Jai, I call out and his head snaps toward me. A small smile plays across his lips as I approach. I left my phone here, did you see it or maybe pick it up? I ask, fidgeting nervously with my fingers. Any second now Grey could come through that door, and I can't emphasize enough how much I want to run but physically cannot. I've got it right here for you, he says with a smile, stepping over to the same counter where I'd asked him for moonshine what feels like ages ago. He sets the appetizer he had been holding down before reaching inside the front pocket of his black waist apron. My familiar lilac-colored phone case emerges into view, and I let out a small sigh of relief. At least no one took it. You better hurry before he gets here. He cuts himself off mid-sentence. What happened anyway? After you left, he was a total jerk. His nose flares as he recalls how Grey must have acted after telling me what he did. I love hearing him talk like that about his boss. He was a male productive part before I left, I mutter, prompting him to burst out laughing. I turn and glance out the window near the front. The coast is clear, I better head out now. I'll see you later, Jai, I say, giving him a small wave. Oh. Thanks for holding onto my phone for me. Of course, he replies, picking up the appetizer and making me feel guilty again. What if my food got cold because of me? I push the door open just as someone else pulls it from the other side. A strong person at that, I nearly go flying. Not only do I almost topple over, but I crash right into the freaking Hulk. A familiar and unfortunately very pleasant scent reaches my nose but disappears as I bounce off his chest. I brace for the fall, keeping my injured knee stiff. I land hard on my butt on the step outside the entrance, certain this will leave a big bruise. My hair flies wildly across my face, and truthfully, I'm glad it does as it hides me. Shi-I-I-T, a voice drawls, not Gray's. There are others here. Am I okay? No. I push my hair away to see. Nervous to witness the scene in front of me, I raise my palm, the same one that caught my fall, and unsurprisingly, it's scraped. I look up to find not just Gray, but also about 5 or 6 men. All of them are staring not only at me, but directly at my skirt. I glance down to check how high it has ridden up. My cheeks flush with embarrassment, and I want nothing more than to slam my head into the concrete. Suddenly, I'm lifted up by my underarms like a child. I fix my skirt immediately once he sets me back on my feet. I glare up at Gray, only to see him scowling darkly at the group of guys. For the first time in over 2 weeks, I find myself hypnotized by his face. His jaw tightens fiercely. Excuse you, I muster my courage and try to push past his large frame. I don't get very far. His big hand grabs my arm, my eyes narrow. As he pulls me back, my gaze meets that one guy who had walked in on Gray kissing me. What's? His face smirks knowingly, and if Gray wasn't holding me, I'd have slapped him silly. Inside, Gray growls and the men begin filing in. I attempt to follow but am held back again by Mr. Bratt. Once the door closes, Gray drags me away to a more secluded spot near the restaurant. I try to maintain my ground, keyword try. Gray, I huff, let go of me. He says nothing, and frustration wells up inside me. What are you doing here? He almost sneers, and I try to ignore the sharp pain stabbing through my chest. Leave me alone, I say, turning to walk away, but he seizes the waistband of my skirt, yanking me back. Don't fucking walk away from me, he snarls, his hand still pressed firmly against the top of my skirt. I'm tempted to punch him right in the nose. I despise myself for the way his touch makes me feel. I glare up at him as fiercely as I can. I wouldn't exactly call this a cliffhanger, but you're all going to have to wait and see what happens next, lol. Azalea. Don't look at me like that, he snaps, his gaze darkening as he stares back at me. Where's this sudden confidence coming from? He questions with a shadow in his voice. You didn't have it a few weeks ago. My facade falls apart. Along with it, my pretenses of being strong dissolve. He knew exactly what he did, it hurt me. I try to walk away again, desperate to hide the tears gathering in my eyes. He already thinks poorly enough of me. I fucking told you, he starts, his anger flaring, but I cut him off sharply, jerking my arm free from his grip with all the strength I can muster right now. I don't care what you told me, my voice trembles. Lila, I interrupt him once more, turning around to shove a finger straight into that infuriatingly gorgeous face, no longer caring if he sees the fresh tears streaming down my cheeks. What happened to me never crying in front of others? Don't call me that, my voice wavers. I can call you whatever the fuck I want, he replies, avoiding my eyes completely. Honestly, I don't even have to worry about him witnessing my tears. He isn't even looking at me. I can too, I whisper, probably setting myself up for regret later. You jerk. His dark glare snaps back to me but softens slightly the moment it lands on my face. Like I care. You're mean, you're rude, you don't care about anything, you only think about yourself, you have no manners, you. He cuts me off, pulling me gently yet firmly toward him. Shut up, his voice rumbles close to me. You don't think before you speak, and you have no idea how your words affect others. I begin, crying harder, shaking my head. You're cruel, you're evil. I wish you weren't so mean, I finally manage, sobbing. He presses my face into his chest, his powerful arms drawing me impossibly close to his warm body. Overwhelmed by every feeling rushing through me, I bury my face against the man who has made me feel this intensely. As the words I spoke register, regret washes over me. I was cruel. No one deserves to be spoken to that way. That thought only makes me cry harder. He smells incredible. That makes me cry. He's holding me. That makes me cry. He's mean to me. That makes me cry. Time drifts by as I continue to cry into him, held tightly against his chest. Eventually, he pulls away slightly. His eyes, softer than I've ever seen, still furrowed with concern, reach up to wipe the tears from my cheeks. Don't cry over me, he says, his tone gentler than I've ever heard. Don't make me, I reply quietly, my heart aching. His hand moves to my hair, fingers drifting through my locks before gently grabbing some and tilting my head up toward his. I don't know how to be good to you, he confesses, and my heart sinks. I grew up without a mother. No sisters, no grandmother, no aunts, he continues, his dark eyes locked onto my green ones. No one was there to teach me how. I wonder silently about his dad. But I never did anything to you, I whisper. I hate to sound arrogant, but I really don't think I deserved this. I know, his head lowers, and I find myself wishing to hold his gaze longer. You shouldn't have acted like you wanted to kiss me if you didn't actually mean it, I say, more scolding than gently, but I suppose he deserves that. His eyes lift back up to meet mine. But I did. His voice stays low, as though speaking too loudly might let someone overhear us, though really there was no one nearby. The hand that isn't holding mine finds its way to the side of my neck, his thumb lightly grazing my jaw. I can't go through this again. Gray, I let my hand reach up to his, gently pulling it away with a slight shake of my head. I look up and notice his jaw is clenched just a little more than usual. Not nearly as tight as it normally is, we're making progress. I can't do that, I whisper, hoping this doesn't backfire on me. Friends? I ask, trying to hide the hesitation in my voice. Slowly, he removes his hand from my hair. The same hand then grabs the hair tie wrapped around my wrist. He toys with it, eyes cast downward. He better not think I've forgiven him. Because I haven't, God, he looks so cute. Twice his jaw tightens as if he's holding back something he wants to say. I think we're definitely moving forward. Friends, he murmurs as if tasting the word. Then his eyes return to mine and he exhales softly, shifting his gaze between both my eyes. I give a small nod. His jaw clenches again. All right, he finally concedes, and a faint smile spreads across my face. We can be friends, no romance, no romantic thoughts, no romantic gestures. And if all goes well, maybe I can teach him what he never learned. Hello, I say cheerfully, and his eyebrows knit together in an adorably confused expression. Stop, no romantic thoughts, I'm Azalea. I beam, Azalea. He drags out the rest of my name, now understanding we're starting fresh. A second chance. Azalea Delilah Carson, I finish for him. Lila, he decides, just like before. Though this time it's in a much kinder tone, no glare this time, I can definitely handle this. What's your name? Gray, he answers curtly, his eyes not acting like we're strangers. He can't stop staring at my legs. My legs don't have eyes, Gray, I say, making his eyes snap up to meet mine sharply before softening. Then don't wear that, he mutters under his breath, seemingly forgetting we're supposed to be strangers. You can't, he's cut off. That whole you can't tell me what to wear routine is out the window. It rose to the fucking heavens and the guys saw it. His tone darkens, though I can't tell if he's mad at me or the guys. Free show, am I right? Not funny, he grumbles, clutching the top of my waistband. I've decided Grumpy Gray is just who he is. Friends, I remind him gently, and he exhales sharply, loosening his grip on my waistband in a way that's more than just casual, his hands sliding along my waist. He opens his mouth to speak, but shuts it quickly when something behind my shoulder catches his attention. Azalea Carson, what the hell? Aaron's voice blasts through my ears and my eyes widen a bit. I'd forgotten about him. I did leave him waiting, didn't I? Who's this? Aaron asks, closing the distance between Gray and me, eyes widening slightly as he sizes up the man beside me. Who the fuck's that? Gray asks, directing his scowl at Aaron while speaking to me. Aaron, this is my friend Gray, I hear Gray say as his knuckles crack in tension. Holy cow. I grab Gray's clenched fist and hide it behind my back so Aaron won't see. God knows he'd flip out, maybe call the cops or something. This is my friend Aaron, I say as I glance between the two men. Aaron's eyes are locked with a glare directed at Gray, and Gray, unsurprisingly, is returning the glare in kind. The fist behind me loosens its grip and instead clutches the back of my shirt, as though it serves as some kind of comfort. Neither of them speaks. They are measuring each other up. Losers. If I were Aaron, I'd be extra cordial to the big guy beside me. The size difference between them is obvious. While Aaron is fit, Grey is a towering man. I break the silence. I've never seen you around here, Aaron remarks with a sharp tone. He grew up here and knows plenty of people. I haven't been around here, comes a gravelly voice beside me. Well, looks like we got ourselves a Knoxville boy, Aaron says, adopting the tone of an FBI interrogator. Excuse me, Aaron, I'm the one with the qualifications here, not you. Why so suspicious all of a sudden? I can tell Grey isn't happy with Aaron's words because he loosens his grasp on my shirt just to grab a larger handful and lean in closer. What's your fucking deal? Grey growls, his dark scowl fixed on Aaron. Aaron raises his hands in surrender. We should head back to the store, I interrupt before things escalate. Man, these two are stressing me out. I pull free from Grey's grip and take a step toward Aaron. Turning to him, I say quietly, "Goodbye, Grey," before hooking my arm through Aaron's and pulling him along. I trust that guy as far as I can throw him, Aaron mutters as we walk back to my car. Not very far, I laugh. He's way bigger than you. That stings my ego. Don't say it again, he grumbles. There's no reason not to trust him, I retort, shaking my head. You don't even know him well enough to judge. He's a dickhead. What makes him see that just from Gray's stance? He's spoken only 2 sentences to the guy. I've already figured out he is one, I say, pointing my finger at Aaron, but you haven't, so don't be so quick to judge. Aaron sighs, clearly defeated. Letter 3DF Gray Letter 3DF warning. Trafficking, rape, drugs, and murder take place or are mentioned after this point. I slam open the bar's door. People glance my way, but I ignore them. Pushing through to the back, I walk down the hallway and open the last door. Bossman, did you just have a quickie? Jonas smirks from the brown leather couch. I grab him by the collar, pulling him up close. Fuck off before your nose gets broken, I sneer. He backs down, stupid idiot. I release him and he sinks back into the couch. The mere idea of them anywhere near her skirt makes me want to knock every last one of them out. What's gotten you so riled up? Maxon asks, his blue eyes gleaming like he already knows the answer. I ignore the question. She's the one who's got me worked up. Aaron, I say abruptly. Did Jake ever mention an Aaron? Their expressions drop at the name. He was one of us. His best friend, Theo says, fuck. My hands fidget as they always do when I'm stressed. Lila's face flashes vividly in my mind. I shouldn't want to do the things I want to do to her. Like hell could I ever be friends with her. Barely 5 minutes had passed since she told me we could only be friends, yet my damn hands couldn't resist grasping her waist. Just one kiss gave me a glimpse of what might have been. I know it was a mistake getting that close to her. Kissing her and holding her made me chase dreams that have no place in my mind. I shouldn't be happy that those dreams exist, but damn it, I am. After tasting her once, it felt impossible to be away from her. The way her hands clung to me made me want to stay there forever. She's too good for me, she's sweet. But no matter what, I can't stay away. There's something pulling me toward her. Every time I pass that damn store, I have to see her. She's got a sharp tongue, she drives me crazy, and she's wild. But fuck if she hasn't started growing on me. What makes it worse is that she's Jake's little sister. Even worse, she doesn't know about his role in our lives. And worse still, Jake made sure no one got near his baby sister. She was off limits even though none of us had actually seen her, except me. I was the only one he ever showed a photo of. Now I can't stop picturing her naked. Fuck me. I wish she would, but I don't know how to treat her right. I honestly don't. That's what you get with a shitty father and a mother who's never been there. I can't do this anymore. Jai storms into the room, running his hands through his hair and down his face. I hate taking orders, I hate serving food, I hate how people treat waiters like crap. Gray, find someone else to do it. I can't do it anymore, he exhales. I tilt my head back and stare at him. Suck it up, bitch, Jonas starts, but I cut him off. Jonas, I grunt, and he turns to me. I nod toward Jai, who bursts out laughing. Are you serious? Jonas asks, his mouth hanging open. I'm not a people person, he adds, and I feel my teeth clench. Get the fuck out there before I shove you out there and beat your ass, I glare, and he stands, snatching the notepad from Jai. Good luck, buddy, Jai calls after him as Jonas walks away. I hate this damn restaurant, but it's a decent front for our base. What time are we leaving? Jai asks. I glance up at the clock. Now, I watch as the minute hand strikes 5. We all rise from our seats. You think he'll quit at 1,000,000. Theo wonders, tucking a pistol into the back of his pants. I pick up the file resting on the coffee table before me. David Anthony Morris documentation from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. DOB 8/14/76, birthplace Griffin, Georgia, sex male, height 510, eyes brown, previous criminal offenses. 2 counts of assault and battery, 3 counts of statutory rape, 2 counts of kidnap, and 1 count of domestic abuse. Reported offenses: human trafficking, location of warehouse 359 Marley Lane, Greer, Tennessee, relatives, ex-wife, Marina Carnite, one fucked up psycho. I shrug to Theo and we keep loading gear. You guys seriously leaving me here alone? Jonas asks as we head to the main floor. George and the chefs are still around. Jai points toward the kitchen, and Jonas shoots a glare at his big brother. You'll get in on the next run, Roman says, scanning the room with sharp, calculating eyes, searching for anything unusual. And Jai distributes the padded leather jackets at the coat rack inside the closet near the door. He offers me one, but as usual, I refuse. One day, you're going to regret not putting one on, Jai sighs, and I shoot a glare at his head as he pulls the jacket over himself. If they truly wanted me dead, they'd aim for my head. Leaning against the warehouse's outer wall, I watch as the guys spread out as planned. Jai positions himself to my right at the entrance. You look like a damn fool, I grumble while he slips on a pair of sunglasses. It's pitch dark outside. No, I look official, he counters before knocking loudly on the door. As I rest my head back against the wall, exhaling deeply, I hope one of these assholes tries me. My fist itches to connect. After a moment, the door swings open. Who the hell are you? A gravelly voice demands. I picture it belongs to David Morris. We've come to make you an offer, Jai says smoothly, exactly why he's always the negotiator for what we do. We. The voice questions, and I push myself off the wall, stopping at the doorway's edge, leaning slightly inside. David steps back. I'll give you 1,000,000 for the property, I say, looking inside over his shoulder. Half-naked women lie on and around men, terrified for their lives. I turn back to David, striving to keep my expression blank. This bastard deserves to die. And everything that comes with it, I add. 1,000,000, he asks, surprised. 1,000,000, Jai confirms, cash if you like. You want into the trafficking business? David grins and I grit my teeth. My knuckles crack from how tightly they're clenched. We definitely want in, Jai smirks, extending his hand. Michael Jackson, fucking idiot. Michael Jackson, David says, shaking Jai's hand. My parents named me after him, Jai replies coolly as David looks over at me. That's Cruz Marshall, Jai introduces, and I shoot him a sharp glare. David Morris, he extends his hand toward me. I barely glance at it and return my gaze to his face. I don't shake hands with fucking rapists. He's a germaphobe, Jai explains, and as soon as this bust is over, I'm breaking his nose. Oh, that's fine, David waves off, his long, greasy hair moving as he does. Why don't you come inside and look around while I think over your offer? We would love to, Jai says with a smile as the plan unfolds perfectly. Jai steps inside first and I follow. The stench of weed mixed with that nasty chemical burn of cooking cocaine hits my nose. Walking the main floor, I scan everything and everyone, counting, noting exits, windows, doors. Suddenly, I crunch something underfoot. As I stop and look down, a crushed meth pipe. Hey man, a slurred voice calls from my left. I glare over. You crushed my pipe, the man says quieter this time. I glance at the girl sitting on his lap, no older than 14. Jai comes back beside me, noticing my stare. We'll come back to him, he assures me, knowing I'm about to screw up our entire bust over one guy. I shake the thought away and keep moving across the main floor. How many girls do you have? Jai asks. I've counted 13 just in this room alone. 30 altogether, he replies with pride, but tomorrow we're expecting a shipment of about 10 more. He leads us through to another room, closing the door behind us, and my senses sharpen immediately. This place is nice, Jai lies straight-faced. Only the best for the bitches, David chuckles as he turns around. My hands itch to clutch his neck. He opens one final door, revealing a dimly lit chamber beyond it. Jai steps inside first and I follow him. Barely a second after entering, he suddenly stops. Spinning around, he fixes me with a fierce expression. He's furious. Fucking get him, he whispers, and normally I'd snap at him for telling me what to do, but his look leaves no room for argument. Feeling David's presence right behind me, I drive an elbow into the side of his head. He crashes into the wall, and before he can shout to the stoned guys in the main room, my fist connects with the center of his face. I feel his nose break beneath my knuckles as he collapses to the floor. I barely catch Jai's call on the radio to call the others, too caught up in beating this sick bastard's face in. Before he dies, I roughly pull him up and shove him against the wall. Jai tosses me the cuffs, and I snap them tight onto his wrists, as tight as they'll go, before letting him drop back down. Grey, come help me with her, Jai calls out, and I finally see what has him so shaken. A naked girl, no, a naked child, lies there, her hands and feet wired to the bed. I look away instantly and I fucking wish I could kill that motherfucker. Both Jai and I untangle the wires binding her wrists, then her feet. Jai quickly removes his jacket and sweatshirt. He slips the sweatshirt onto the girl. Thank you, she sobs. Are you going to help me? We're here to help you, Jai tells her, helping her to her feet. She stands shakily, the sweatshirt hanging down to her knees. We work with the FBI, he explains, choosing the simpler truth instead of explaining our real line of work. We're not the FBI, we're an independent organization. They pay us for our jobs, and we get the full percentage and ownership of any properties seized from the criminals we take down. Money is not an issue for any of us. How old are you? He asks, guiding her toward the door. She wipes away tears, sniffling. 12. Fucking hell, I mutter, delivering a strong kick to David's body, likely breaking a few ribs. He almost touched me, the girl stammers, but someone knocked on the big door before he did. And did anyone else try to touch you? Jai presses and she shakes her head. He told them not to, she whispers. He said he wanted me for himself. This poor kid is going to carry terror and scars for the rest of her life. Jai opens the door we came in through, and I grab David's foot, dragging him after us. Back on the main floor, every guy is cuffed and sitting against a wall. I count only 15 men, there should be 16. I drop David's leg and approach one of the guys who looks least stoned or drunk. I crouch to his level. Where the fuck is he? I demand darkly. Who? The man asks, but I can see in his eyes he knows exactly who I mean. Don't fucking play with me, I growl, driving my fist into his sternum, and his eyes snap wide with pain. He jerks his head forward and headbutts me. His forehead makes contact only with my bottom lip. Blood wells up and I spit it out, sneering at him. He slipped into a back room before all your damn pigs showed up, he replies as I stand. Quiet him, I order Roman, who smirks in response while I head off to find the 16th target. As I track him down at the far end of a long corridor, the door is ajar and a girl sits on his lap, his back turned to me. I advance silently and the girl notices me. She's older than the last two, and unlike the others, she's dressed. Her eyes grow wide with fear, and I silently mouth, "I won't hurt you," shaking my head. Begrudgingly, I draw the gun from the back of my pants. It's not my usual choice, but I accept it for now. I press the barrel to the back of his head and he freezes. I disengage the safety, the sharp click audible. "Hands off," I command, and he raises his hands away from her. The girl bolts the moment he obeys. "Stand up," I growl, and he complies. I spot him reaching for something beside him and sigh inwardly. He whirls and aims a gun at me. He can't be older than 20. "Put it down, kid," I say gruffly. A kill generates a fuckton of paperwork. He flips off the safety on his own gun and I roll my eyes. Lowering my weapon, I seize the end of his gun and slam my knee into his elbow, shattering it. The gun falls into my hand as he howls in agony, the noise annoyingly loud. I drag him roughly back to the main room where Maxon slaps cuffs on him, and some of my men escort the remaining girls from secluded rooms. I count 30 girls in total. As the men begin processing each girl according to protocol, I approach the one nearest to me. "Name?" I ask as Jai hands me a report form to record her information. "Anna Terry," she whispers, still visibly terrified. "Date of birth?" I finish writing down her name and meet her gaze. 10/11/03, she replies, and I clamp down on the pen harshly. "She's 15, for fuck's sake. What is wrong with these monsters?" "Birthplace? Chicago," she answers, hope flickering in her eyes as realization dawns that she'll be going home. This night is going to be long. Thank y'all for reading. I wanted to offer you a glimpse into what Grey does. I'm sorry this chapter is so grim, but human trafficking, especially involving children, is a real and urgent crisis that must be stopped. Not edited. Word count 4264. Of Ashlyn E. Hey everyone, welcome back. Picture a world where broken hearts wear bright smiles and shadows lurk beneath every laugh. Meet Azalea, an unforgettable oddball with a wild mind and a fearless tongue. Opposite her stands Grey, a tattooed enigma with a dangerous edge that makes her question everything. Their story is raw, unfiltered, and wrapped in moments that sting and sizzle. Buckle up for a journey through cracked souls, sharp words, and a fiery connection you won't forget. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Azalea, I'm genuinely thinking about becoming a stripper, like seriously. But without actually stripping, I'd get one of those shirts printed with a really fit body on it. It's a triple win. Win one, I'd earn the same as a regular stripper. Win two, I wouldn't have to show off my own body, thank goodness, because there's nothing much to see, and I probably wouldn't make much money. Win three, I could literally dance all day long. On the downside, my arm strength is practically nil, so I might have to avoid the poles. What am I saying? It's 12 noon and I'm strolling through the town square. Gray usually visits me around 11 or so, but today he didn't show. So I figured I could swing by his restaurant or whatever, maybe catch a glimpse of him, and possibly grab some food using the money Aaron gave me. 200 whole dollars. I told him I didn't want to accept it, but he insisted, and I just can't say no to money like that. He's like my sugar daddy, never mind. As after treating myself to a caramel iced coffee, I turn down Red Street. I open the door to Gray's bar, only to find not my favorite waiter, but someone else leaning against a small counter where menus are stacked and the cash register sits. He looks pretty miserable. Can I help you? He mumbles, clearly not eager to assist. That can't be good for Gray's business. Can I get a table for one? Or actually, maybe a table for two, since I don't think there's such a thing as a table for one. I babble a bit before recalling that this guy was the one who walked in on Gray and me kissing. Isn't life fun? He grabs a menu and hands it to me. My eyebrows knit together slightly, and with a wave of his hand, he gestures for me to sit wherever I want. I giggle softly at how obviously he hates this job. I find a two-person table and settle on one side, opening the menu. Oh my gosh, they have waffles. I wiggle excitedly in my seat and crack my knuckles. It takes quite a while for the waiter to reach my table, about 30 minutes actually. Good thing I'm not that hungry, or he'd better be moving faster. Drink, he mutters. Sweet tea, please, I say, and he shuffles off. 10 minutes later, he returns to take my order, but still hasn't brought my drink. Belgian waffles, I smile, with syrup. He trudges away once more. I'm not even sure he wrote down my order. 45 minutes later, I receive some delicious-looking waffles. But no syrup, I'm going to sue. Still no drink, I'm suing again. Here, he tosses the bill onto my table. I nearly throw it back at him, but I don't. $30? I don't remember ordering gold-plated waffles. Looking down at the bill, I see a cheeseburger, fries, and chicken listed. I head up to the register to pay. My bill's not correct, I tell him, but he just looks at me like he couldn't care less. I pay the $30 anyway, thinking I'll treat a family sometime and they can treat me to the waffles. Guess who's not getting a tip? No tip. I watch as he rolls his eyes. I raise my eyebrows. Maybe if I had gotten my sweet tea, I'd give you one, I say with a little nasty smile. Bitch, he mutters just as my actual favorite waiter arrives beside him. I wouldn't call her that if I were you, he says, giving him a playful slap on the back. Damn right, sucker, Jai knows. By the way, he sucks, I say, pointing at whoever the heck that guy is. You swallow, he replies, narrowing his blue eyes at me. Wow, brother, what are we, 8 years old? And for your information, yes, I do swallow my food. Well, you know what? I hope you fall off your high horse and break your little butt. You don't even have a butt. It's non-existent, just so you know. I shoot back, narrowing my eyes right at him. I hope you realize you have no boobs, he counters, crossing his arms over his chest. Excuse me, I'm rocking a firm C cup. Almost a D, he's just being a brat. Am I going to play that game? Absolutely. Your peepee is tiny. Jai bursts into laughter while the crappy waiter and I remain locked in our stare downs. The waiter guy shoves his order notepad into Jai's chest, then walks through the door to the back. That's right, walk away. He deserved that. Jai chuckles and I nod in agreement. I know. He's my brother, Jai adds, and I visibly wince. Poor soul, if you want me to come over sometime and put him in his place, just say the word, I offer. You want to see Gray this time? Are you two better? We're friends now, I nod, causing his eyebrows to shoot up. Friends, huh? He asks with a teasing tone. Yep, I confirm. I go through the back door, then the door at the end of that room, follow the hallway, and enter the first door on the right. He instructs, and I blink. I lost focus the second time he said door. Yeah, okay, I say with a smile, grabbing my half-finished coffee. As I pass through the door, then the only other door I see, and find myself in a hallway. I stand there for a solid 5 minutes. Freaking heck, man. I try the first door on the left, it's a closet empty. Then I try the first door on the right, there's Gray. His eyes flick up to mine, and I smile slightly as I step further inside. He's seated behind a large wooden desk with an iMac on it. Once I wanted one of those. I saw the price and nearly had the biggest heart attack ever recorded. The rest of his desk is cluttered with paperwork and a coffee cup. Hi, Gray, I say, closing the door behind me. I watch as his gaze scans my outfit, shorts and an off-the-shoulder light blue top paired with my beloved leg brace. I take a seat in the chair before his desk. He props his chin on his hand, struggling to keep his eyes open. I smile softly at him. Are you tired? You look a little worn out, I ask, tilting my head slightly. Stepping closer, I offer him my coffee. I've had quite a bit, but you can have the rest, or I can grab you something else, I say, stopping by his desk. He swivels in his wheeled chair toward me. I feel like he might yell if I suddenly spin him in it. My eyes fix on a sizable cut on his lip. As I gasp and move closer, what happened? Does it hurt? Did you get jumped? I clutch my chest. Oh God, he did, didn't he? What the hell are you talking about? He grumbles. I set my cup down on his desk and move closer, bending at the waist. I reach out, grab his face, and tilt it toward me. I get a clear look at his lip. It's busted, indicating blunt force trauma. Yeah, I watch way too much Cops. I lightly run my finger over the cut on his bottom lip before realizing I'm still holding his face. My cheeks flush, but I stay composed. His dark eyes meet mine, and I'm surprised he's not scowling. He's simply staring. Holy mackerel, did our conversation yesterday actually have an effect? I'm sure it's because we talked about this yesterday and now he's acknowledged his meanness. I got head-butted, he replies softly, and my eyes narrow. Isn't a headbutt supposed to land on the forehead, not the lip? What, it can't get right. Where are they? I ask, fired up. They're about to get got, I reassure him, and his lips curl into the most stunning smirk I've ever seen in my entire life. Here, here, I say, picking up my coffee again and holding it out to him. I'm not drinking that crap, he scowls at the cup. I'm offended by how he looks at it. I'm sure teenage girls everywhere would be too. Why not? What's that crap? He repeats the curse word, pointing to the caramel stuck to the side of the cup, dirt I mixed and then dumped into my drink. Tired of standing, I drag the chair in front of his desk right beside his. I sit and offer him the cup again. It's just caramel, I giggle, and his eyes flick back to mine. You don't want it, he asks, and I shake my head. Finally, he takes it. I watch his lips as he sips, gauging his reaction. He doesn't say a word but keeps drinking. I knew he'd like it. Your chef makes really good waffles, I say out of nowhere as he picks up a pen and starts filling out what looks like a form or something. Your waiter dude out there got me so fired up you wouldn't believe it. He didn't even bring my sweet tea. And he had the audacity, I enunciate every syllable, to say I had no boobs. He turns back to me. I watch his eyes drop to my chesticles. After a long moment of just looking, his gaze meets mine again. He raises a single eyebrow. He lied, my heart flutters, and I almost fan myself. Why was he staring? His head tilts, and I notice the sound of his fingers cracking as he clenches his fists. You've got me there, I shrug. He's probably just looking at what he could never have. Damn right, he mutters, his eyes lighter than before. I told him he had a small peepee. I hold my chin up with pride. The corners of his mouth lift. I made him smile a little. My heart swells. He leans forward, cutting my thoughts short by grabbing both armrests of my chair and pulling me until I'm right in front of him. Next time, come get me, he grumbles low. I nod, my eyes fixed on his lips, no romantic thoughts. He pulls my chair closer still before wrapping his arms around my waist, pulling me to the edge of it. Friends, Gray, I whisper, do you always stare at your friend's lips? He asks, and my gaze jumps to his dark eyes. My imaginary friends don't even have lips, they speak through their feet. Why, yes, I stammer, and his eyes darken while his eyebrows knit into a small scowl. His jaw tightens, and I sense that my answer wasn't what he wanted to hear. His tattooed hand rests gently on my cheek. Leaning closer, my eyes flutter as he presses his lips against my opposite cheek, his hand urging my face nearer. He pulls back and gazes at me. Was that good? He asks earnestly. I respond with a soft smile. He's actually quite sweet when he isn't staring at me so intensely. Summoning courage, I straighten my back and lean towards him. Placing my hand on his cheek, mirroring his gesture, I press my lips against his opposite cheek, pushing his face closer with my hand. Oh my gosh, he smells heavenly. My heart races as I pull away and lock eyes with him. Was that okay? I ask, and hardly a moment passes before he nods, his eyes fixed on my lips. He shifts his knee, bumping mine and jostling it more than it's been moved in a while. I emit a little hiss. Fuck, he mutters. It's okay, I reassure him, but his eyebrows remain furrowed. His jaw clenches again, revealing how hard he is on himself. I also realize he used to do this all the time, especially when he snapped at me and I got upset. He really doesn't know how to handle this. Does he want me to kiss his cheek once more? Because I definitely will, just to distract him. Am I a horn dog? For him, I suppose I am. Do you like hugs? I ask, slightly cursing my own chatter. He opens his mouth but closes it a second later. I hum when he doesn't answer. I don't know, he replies, his eyes softening. My heart grows heavy. He doesn't know. We're about to find out. I bite back the urge to wiggle excitedly in my seat. Standing, I grab him and pull him to his feet. Standing it is. He stands tensely before me, poor thing. Relax, I whisper, placing my hands on his shoulders and slowly sliding them down his arms. He softens, and I can barely breathe, feeling his muscles beneath my fingertips. His hands circle my waist before dropping dangerously close to my behind. I gasp. Not friendly, my voice rises an octave. His hands go back up, and I calm my racing heart. I liked it, but I shouldn't have. Do you know what friendly things are? I ask, genuinely thinking he doesn't. Not around you, he grumbles, and I catch my breaths. I step fully away to prepare the hug. He's much taller than I am. I raise my arms and go for it. Bend down, please, I murmur so I can reach around his neck without standing on tiptoes. He leans slightly at the waist. Noticing his arms still at his sides, I take his hand, guiding it around my torso. His other follows. He lets out a small huff before straightening and lifting me up. I squeak in surprise as my feet dangle. He holds me tightly and I bite my lip to suppress a smile. I think he needed this. I have to pee. After a few minutes, his grip loosens. One of his hands moves down to the back of my thigh as he carefully lowers me back down. He keeps my injured leg raised off the ground with his hand until I'm fully balanced on my other leg. Then he gently lowers my hurt leg. Did you like that? There's another kind of hug we could try, I say to him. He doesn't respond, so I step closer and wrap my arms around his strong torso, attempting the second type of hug. Holy freaking cow, he's a solid guy. This time his arms wrap around me on their own. Am I a great teacher or what? After a little while, I pull away. He's scowling slightly at me, my eyebrows knit together. Did he not enjoy that one? Why are you mad at me? I ask, and he had better be honest, or I won't hesitate to bring up everything I called him yesterday. Jai's brother already has me fired up. I'm not. His eyes soften. Which one did you like better? The first one, he says as he grabs both my hands, guiding them back around his neck. A small blush warms my cheeks. I wouldn't really try this hug on your guy friends, I warn him. I don't think you should try it on another guy either, he grumbles. Do you hug your guy friends? I ask, though I feel like I already know the answer. He doesn't exactly strike me as the hugging type, more like the if you touch me I'll punch you straight in your throat type. He steps away and offers his hand. Confused, I take it. He chest bumps me the classic bro shake and I bounce off his chest. You're too small, he mutters and I squint. Too small, my butt, I'm the perfect fun size. You're too big, I retort, tilting my head up to watch his bottom lip tucked into his mouth. That's what she said. Stop, I need to pee. Is there a bathroom nearby? I ask, lowering my arms from around his neck. His eyebrows drop in displeasure at my movement. Across the hall, he nods toward the door. As I open the door and step out into the hallway, shutting the door behind me. Directly across, I open another door, just a closet like before. As I try the door next to it and there's a bathroom, I start tinkling. The bathroom's pretty plain. After finishing up, I wash my hands and open the door. As I step out, the squeaking of shoes draws my attention to someone right beside me. A tall guy stands there looking down at me. He's kind of intimidating. A scar marks his forehead and his dark green eyes bore into mine. His eyes are actually pretty. Sorry, I mumble, stepping aside. His deliberate gaze stays fixed on me. He must be intimidated by me. Who wouldn't be? I could intimidate the Rock. He walks past me and I glance at his butt. I don't know why I check out everyone's butt, but his is pretty nice. A gun sticks out of the back of his pants. Oh dear Jesus Christ in a handbasket. As I rush into Gray's office before the guy with the gun can turn around and catch me looking. He probably has eyes in the back of his head, though. For the first time, I notice a walkie-talkie lying at the end of the desk. Is that a walkie-talkie? I gasp. Jake and I used to have those when we were little. We would go to opposite ends of the house and talk for hours. We kept them for a long time. Whenever I was sent to my room and forbidden from leaving, he would always call me just to talk. He never failed to make me feel better. I wonder if Gray has the ability to call the chef anytime he wants to tell him he needs food. That's definitely something I would do. I glance up, expecting to see Gray sitting at his desk, but he isn't there. I scan the room with a caveman SpongeBob expression and still find no sign of him. The guy with the gun must have kidnapped him, although it would have been quite tough since Gray is a bit bigger than the gun guy. Then again, the gun guy has a weapon, so... I nearly soil myself when the door behind me abruptly opens. Gray appears and I exhale in relief. Then, as he shuts the door, a sweet tea comes into view. He hands it to me and I bite my lip to stop from smiling. He actually got this for me. He was paying attention when I was rambling on. Thank you, I whisper softly, releasing my lip before he notices. I basically down the sweet tea in one go. I can feel his gaze fixed on me the whole time. He must be thirsty. As I pull my lips away from the glass and catch my breath a little, his dark eyes lock onto mine. Thirsty? I offer, holding the glass out to him. He looks away, closes his eyes, and clenches his remarkable jaw. Suddenly, my phone rings. I haven't heard that sound in over a year. Nobody ever calls me. Gray frowns at the source of the noise. I hurry to answer. Hello, I'm calling regarding your car insurance policy. Hi, I say, honestly excited someone is calling me. It appears your car insurance needs an upgrade. Does it? I had no idea it could be upgraded, I reply, making Gray narrow his eyes at me. Of course. We only want the best for our customers. Now I just need your credit card number and everything will be sorted. She says cheerfully and I wince. Does she even know my name? Well, I don't have a credit card. I'm cut off when Gray snatches the phone from me. Why don't you fuck off? He growls into the phone, then hangs up on the woman. I was having a nice little chat with her, I mumble, and he turns to me. She wanted to upgrade my car insurance. That number's from North Dakota. Maybe that's where my insurance office is. I don't know where my car insurance company is, I say, furrowing my brows. Are you stupid? It's a fucking scam, he growls, and my mood plummets. I thought he was improving. I didn't know, I admit quietly. How could I have known it was a scam? I never get those calls. He's right, I'm stupid. She never even asked for my name. How do you even take care of yourself? He mutters, his face hard and jaw locked tight. As I bend down and set my sweet tea on the floor, he watches me with a calculated, slightly puzzled look. I shoot him one last unhappy glance before opening the door and stepping out. He really was getting better. See, there's definitely some sweetness beneath all his sourness. He just struggles to keep his sugar intact. Thanks for reading. Azalea, this morning, I managed to stay out of Mr. Tarrap's sight. To be extra cautious, I wore my hair down, covering part of my face in case he spotted me. Dad lost his job. So he drank and kept drinking. He accidentally shoved the side of my face against the wall, then he drank even more. I barely slept last night. I don't know how much longer I can endure this. The bruise perched right on top of my cheekbone was difficult to conceal with makeup. My foundation is light, not full coverage. Thankfully, I rarely get pimples. Or hickeys. Why hickeys? I've only ever had one in my entire life. Gray, the man I've decided not to speak to until he gets his life together. But it's not like I can keep my mouth shut. A book titled Satan catches my eye. I didn't realize Grey Kingston had a book written about him. I feel awful for mentally equating Grey with the devil. About an hour and a half into dusting the tops of the tallest bookshelves, the bell above the door jingles. After a minute, I sense someone behind me. "You're going to hurt yourself," a low voice mumbles, and I sigh. How does he know? Maybe I was a circus balancing act in a past life. I shift my stance on the ladder and glance down at him. He's looking up, holding a sweet tea in his hand. My heart softens a bit, but I suck it up and turn away. Did he bring that for me? Stop. I finish dusting the shelf that nearly reaches the ceiling, and now I'm left with nothing more to do up here. What next? I dust him again. "How many times are you going to dust it?" he asks, and I consider kicking him with one leg, but that might make me fall, so I drop the idea. I hear him set the tea down on a lower shelf. Then I feel his hand rest on the side of my thigh. I look down, he's standing right beneath me, his dark eyes fixed on mine. I'm glad I'm not wearing a skirt toda, I'm wearing a dress. "Are you checking out my goodies?" I tease him. His eyes hold a mischievous gleam but don't leave mine. "Want me to?" His thumb rubs my thigh and I nearly shiver. I'm supposed to be mad at him, remember. I start climbing down, struggling a bit with my leg, and he notices. He grabs me by the waist and gently sets me on the floor. I walk away, heading to dust a short bookshelf that only reaches my chest. He comes up beside me and I let my hair fall, covering my face. My heart races when he brushes it away to tuck it behind my ear. I untuck it, letting it fall again. He exhales harshly. "Want a milkshake?" he tries. I huff, staying silent even though it's hard. "Talk to me," he says, placing a hand on my hip. I pull away from his touch. "How do I know you won't be mean?" I whisper, not looking at him. He gently grabs my arm and pulls me in close. I make sure to keep my hair in front of my cheekbone just in case. "You're not stupid," his dark eyes bore into mine, reminding me of what he said yesterday. "I take care of myself just fine," I murmur, recalling his words too. "I know you do, just look at you." His voice takes on a certain edge, not exactly friendly. "I'm fashionable, aren't I? You like it." I lift the hem of my pale pink sundress to show him. I notice his bottom lip tuck into his mouth. Whoa, he nods and his hands reach for me. I catch them before they reach my waist. His jaw twitches and his dark eyes remain locked on my torso. "I'm not one of your guy friends," I tell him, guiding his hands back down to his sides. His gaze shifts to mine. "You're not," he agrees, an emotion swirling within his eyes. It makes me glad he's not hiding behind that emotionless mask. "So you can't just say mean things, you know?" I finish. "And you can't kiss other girls where you kissed me or anywhere." "I'm trying, I know that," I nod, seeing how he's already working to fix how he acted before. I mean, he brought me a sweet tea. His hands fidget before clutching the tan hair tie around my wrist. I've noticed he does that often. He cuts himself off, shaking his head like whatever he was about to say was stupid. I hum, tilting my head toward him. He looks between both of my eyes. I want to smack his butt. "Stop. See, hug." He mumbles and a smile spreads across my lips. He's trying. I wrap my arms around his neck. He lifts me in a hug. After a minute, he sets me down and hands me my sweet tea. I left mine on your floor yesterday, I murmur, feeling guilty. It showed me I was a dick, he mumbles. To you, I sip my tea. Are you doing anything today? I ask shyly. I'm a little nervous he might turn on me at any moment. He shakes his head and I almost laugh. Doesn't he own a restaurant? We should go somewhere, I say. I haven't been on a good little drive in a long time. Although writing makes me nervous, the destination always gives me something to look forward to. Don't you have a car? He asks before muttering a quiet curse. Dad took my keys last night. I was too scared to ask for them this morning. I had to walk here. At least it's a nice day. I didn't mean it in a that wasn't supposed to be. Mean, he stumbles, and I let a small smile form at him. Let's go, he gives up, grabbing my free hand. Little butterflies flutter in my belly. Mr. Tarrip sees us leaving. He smiles and waves. Crazy old man. Gray holds the door open for me, and I'm a bit surprised. Who taught him that? He helps when I struggle to get my injured leg into the Jeep. When his hand grazes my butt, I feel a little turned on. Stop. I think it would be hard if I were a guy. How do you stop a boner? When you get turned on, it shows. I get turned on just looking at his hands. I'm thankful I don't have a penis. I'm not sure he'd be thankful if I did, or maybe he would. I really hope not, though. Do you like pee-pee? A little? I blurt out. It sounds ridiculous as it leaves my mouth. I need to stop calling it a pee-pee. Before he can reply, I rephrase my question. Do you like Peters? I still think that's really awful. Eventually, I lift my eyes to him. He's leaning against the side of my seat, the door wide open. His head tilts back and to the side, his gaze fixed intently on me. One hand rests atop my seat as he steps forward, then he places the other on the space between me and the armrest console. You know I want to fuck you, right? Only you, he says, and I draw in a breath as his eyes flicker down to my lips. That's the last thing friendly he could have said. But damn, if his words don't make me want to entertain unfriendly thoughts in return. Does that answer your question? I nod, still caught a little in a trance. A small smirk appears on his lips, and suddenly I feel like I'm flying to heaven. He steps back and grabs the seatbelt, pulling it across my body. Not friendly, was it? He leans in close as he clicks it in. No, I reply a bit breathlessly. His eyes meet mine again before dropping down. His tattooed hand reaches up and gently pulls my bottom lip away from my teeth. I hadn't even noticed I'd been biting it. He shuts my door, and I exhale a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Only you? I mentally trace the intricate designs of his tattoos before raising my gaze to meet his cold, dark eyes as my mouth continues to chatter nonstop. Shut up, his deep voice startles me, halting my steady flow of words. Sorry, I say sheepishly, feeling his cold stare burn through me. Maybe I should actually be quiet. The light turns green and he goes on. I'm pretty sure I haven't stopped talking this whole 30 minutes on the road. I don't even blame him for telling me to shut up. Sorry, he apologizes after a minute of silence, which surprises me. I was talking a lot, it's okay, I shrug, and he shakes his head. I was thinking, I start again, a little giggle escaping. Is your favorite color gray? That would be funny. He doesn't laugh, but I laugh enough for both of us. Don't have one, he replies gruffly, and I let out a soft gasp. I look over at him, noticing his strong, inked arm resting on the armrest and the other effortlessly steering. I admire the veins in his arm for a moment. I'll help you then, I decide. What color do you find yourself most content looking at? I ask, sounding like some kind of therapist. Green, he answers shortly. Poop green, tree green, traffic light green, light green. I list as we approach another light. He looks at me and studies my eyes for a moment. Emerald. Oh, like the birthstone, I smile. His eyebrows furrow just a tiny bit before returning to normal. Sure, he says, my stomach grumbles softly. We should eat somewhere, I suggest, if you want. My stomach's about to start sounding like a baby whale soon. He turns off the road and we arrive at a pizza place. So I'm glad he didn't ask where I wanted to eat. I honestly wouldn't have known what to say. Good? He asks, unbuckling his seatbelt, and I smile, nodding. He gets out and I open my door. I slide to the edge of my seat, preparing to jump out, but before I can, he comes to my side. Don't do that, he warns gruffly. Your knee, he sets me down on the ground and we walk inside. The smell of pizza hits my nose and I nearly break out into a dance. After following the sign that directs us to take our own seats, we do just that. We settle into a booth where menus are already laid out on the table. His foot brushes against mine. He's got incredibly long legs. How long are your legs? I blurt out and he looks up at me from his menu. Never mind, I murmur, glancing back down. I'm craving pizza. And Gray, stop. What are you ordering? I prompt, trying to start a conversation. Steak and cheese, he mumbles, with everything on it. Order for me, he says, closing his menu. Please, he adds, drink. Sweet tea, I reply, our eyes meeting, and I give him a small smile. I don't mind placing the order for him. I like talking to new people. I think he notices that. The waiter approaches our table wearing a Bears Beats Battlestar Galactica shirt, which I adore wholeheartedly. Drinks? He asks. Two sweet teas, I answer, and he moves away. Why are you looking at him like that? Gray asks gruffly, his eyes showing some displeasure. Did you see his shirt? I bite my lip, holding back laughter. It's funny. He just grunts, his hands fidgeting nervously. I remove the hair tie from my wrist and hand it to him since he tends to fuss with it when his hands do that. He looks up at me with an adorably confused expression. You mess with this when your hands do that, I explain, and the corners of his lips twitch upward. He nearly smiles as he takes it and begins twisting it into squares and triangles. I watch him with a small smile as he studies the hair tie in his hands. The waiter returns shortly, placing our drinks on the table and pulling out his notepad for our orders. How big are the small pizzas? I ask. The waiter, whose name tag reads John, shrugs. I say I'll have one of those with just cheese. And he notes it down before turning to Gray, who is still fidgeting with the hair tie. He'll have the steak and cheese with everything on it, I say on his behalf, and the waiter turns back to me, writing it down. I like your he begins, but Gray abruptly grabs the back of his shirt, pulling him back. I would have definitely pooped my pants if I were the waiter. She was talking to you, Gray growls as the now startled waiter glances back at me. I like your shirt, I offer with a slightly apologetic smile because of Gray's behavior. Thank you, the waiter says, pausing before finally walking away. I dip the sixth and final slice of my pizza in ranch dressing, biting into it as if it were the first piece. Gray finished some time ago. I look up at him, his chin rests on his hand, eyes locked on me. I blush slightly. Did you want a bite? I ask, feeling a touch guilty for eating an entire pizza by myself. A small smirk appears on his lips. I'm good, Lila, you're good too, stop. I finish the slice, then drink the last bit of my tea. Gray slides the rest of his tea over to me, and I drink that as well. I've got quite the appetite today, and I'm fully embracing it. I'm also embracing this food baby growing inside me. At least my dress isn't tight or anything. It's a girl, and her name is Tubbs. I lean back in the booth and sigh. The waiter comes back carrying the check and a pizza box. I guess he assumed I wasn't going to eat. His eyes widen when he notices the empty pizza tray. Gray narrows his eyes at the sight. I was hungry, all right, I say. I reach for my phone to fetch the cash from the back of the case, but before I can, Gray hands the waiter his card. I thought we were paying separately or something. I mutter as the waiter starts to walk away, and Gray just looks at me like what I said was a dumb idea. Well, thanks, I smile at him, and he simply nods, fingers fiddling with my hair tie again. After leaving the restaurant and getting back on the road, I give Gray directions to a lovely lookout halfway up the Smoky Mountains. Mr. Tarrip once mentioned the spot, saying it's where he proposed to his late wife, so I figured it must be beautiful. God rest her soul. When we arrive, the view is stunning. It overlooks the lush greenery below and the mountains surrounding us. There's nothing but pure nature, no towns or houses in sight. Gray steps out and helps me down. We approach the edge briefly, though I hang back a bit, uneasy about the heights. After a while, he lifts me onto the flat hood of his Jeep before climbing up himself. Good gosh, those muscles flex as he climbs. Tell me about you and your family, I say softly. I know he has no mother, but I'm curious about his dad. He pauses a moment, leaning back against the windshield, so I do the same. Mom died giving birth and Dad's a deadbeat, he says with a one-shoulder shrug. Feeling sorry for him wouldn't change anything. I moved out at 17, he says, staring into the mountains, and I've been on my own ever since. Seems like you're doing all right, I murmur, and he looks like he's considering it. I mean, he does have a nice Jeep and owns a restaurant. Your turn. I bite my lip nervously. I have no idea what to tell him. I start, feeling his eyes on me. You know, I have a pretty normal family. Emotions rise inside me, mister. Tarrip's words start to sink in, the ones about needing to tell someone about Jake. Gray doesn't know Jake. His opinion won't be affected since he never met him. I can tell Gray, and he won't be hurt. I lost my brother, I begin, and his eyes stay fixed on me. My chest tightens, I take a deep breath. We were in a crash, just the two of us, I say, looking down at my lap. Is that how you got hurt? He asks about my knee, and I nod. I begged him, God, I begged him to take me to this ice cream shop that had just opened nearby. I'd heard people at school raving about all the crazy flavors. He kept saying it was raining too hard, but I kept pushing. Jake, please, please, I want to see it so bad. It's all I want, I pleaded. I wanted to try the pumpkin ice cream everyone had mentioned. Azzy, it's pouring down right now. He shook his head, but I didn't stop begging. Tears blurred my vision. Eventually, he gave in. Jake, please, Jake, please, Jake, please, Jake, please, Jake. He interrupts me by standing up from the couch. Let's go, he sighs, and I squeal with joy, leaping onto his back and hugging him tightly. Thank you so much, I say, squeezing him. On the road, visibility was nearly zero. He drove cautiously without any music or noise. Suddenly, I heard screeching tires. The first impact struck his side. The car slammed into us, and then we rolled, tumbling off the road. Only the sound of rain fills the car's interior. Jake watches the road with intense focus, then screeching tires ring out again. As a car crashes into our side and my screams fill both my ears and the vehicle, I feel us roll once more and a sharp pain explodes in my leg. I cry out as the car continues what feels like the most terrifying roller coaster ride of my life. The window beside me shatters, and I catch a single glimpse outside. As a scream rises from my throat when I see the massive hill looming ahead, down which we are about to tumble. Azzy, Jake calls just before we tilt and plunge downward. And there was a hill, a huge one that we rolled down off the side of the road. It was so steep, I say as a tear slips down my cheek. I don't remember how long it took to reach the bottom. The doctors said I lost consciousness, I say, scrunching my face as I fight back crying. But I woke up after the rolling stopped, just sitting there. I don't know how long I'd been out, but we were upside down when I regained consciousness. My eyes flutter open, and the searing pain piercing the right side of my body makes me want to retreat. I try to breathe, but pain in my ribs nearly chokes me. I start wheezing. And Jake, I turn my head toward Jake. He's going to be okay. He's so strong. His eyes are open, staring straight at me. The blood covers him, glass is embedded in his arm, and his face is mostly stained with blood. But he's okay. He's looking right at me, probably waiting for me to wake up already. Jake, I croak, wheezing and struggling for breath. He doesn't respond, he doesn't blink. He lies against the roof, his neck bent awkwardly as he gazes at me. Why isn't he responding? Jake. I wheeze one last time as breathing becomes too painful. I close my eyes, comforted by the thought that he'll be here later to tell me everything is all right. As I thought he was alive, I choke out with a sob. He looked right at me, his eyes were open. Even covered in blood, he was looking at me. Finally, the sob escapes as I bury my face in my hands, hating to cry so hard in front of him. I believed he was okay. I regain control, lifting my hands away. He was DOA, his neck was broken, he severed his spinal cord, he was dead before they even arrived. And what about me? Broken ribs, collapsed lung, dislocated shoulder, shattered patella, torn ACL, broken tibia and fibula, and a grade 3 concussion. It should have been me. It was my fault. It should have been me with the broken neck. I'm sorry, I whisper, realizing he probably didn't want to hear any of that. I wipe tears from my face, and for the first time I look at him. His eyes meet mine, his face rests calmly. He looks at me as if trying to understand what I'm feeling. You blame yourself, don't you? My heart stutters at his words. I lower my gaze to the tattooed hand that lies casually on the hood beside me. Another wave of tears wells up as I hear him ask the question. I press my lips together tightly to stop them from trembling. I lift my eyes back to him, silently pleading to let the tears fall. His expression softens as he gazes at me. Just by looking, he already knows my answer. His strong arms encircle me. I'm lifted onto his lap as if I weigh no more than a pizza slice. With my legs straddling him, he pulls me closer, one hand resting gently on the side of my face. At this moment, the awkwardness of our position doesn't register, nor do we care. When I'm upset, I seek comfort in ice cream. It soothes me. Now he's beginning to give me that same feeling. He's my ice cream, my sugar. He'll have to get used to me calling him that. He pulls me even nearer, his forehead resting against mine. He offers quiet support. His actions speak louder than any words ever could. He is here for me. He carries the scent of my fondest dreams dipped in heaven's purest waters. I close my eyes, savoring the sensation of him, then confusion strikes. Why is he soothing me when it's my fault? Why am I letting him? I pull away. I don't deserve comfort or happiness. I deserve to take Jake's place. Please don't cry, he pleads politely, and my heart nearly stops. His hands find my cheeks, wiping away the tears. I hate seeing you cry, he says, looking completely sincere. I deserve to feel sad, I whisper. You don't, he replies firmly, gripping my chin so I'm forced to meet his eyes. That's not what my father says. But I killed Hai. Don't say that, he interrupts harshly, his eyebrows knitting in displeasure. You didn't kill Jake. How did he? I must have said his name without realizing. No more of that, his hands slide to my waist, and no more crying either. He pulls me flush against him, wrapping his powerful arms completely around me. He's holding me. Good, he asks about the hug. A small smile begins to form on my lips. Good. A diamond, 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 diamond. Suit, there's some insight into what happened during the wreck. Writing it hurt my heart. Next chapter coming soon. Thank you for reading, P. Azalea. I can't recall ever finding my bed this cozy. Usually it felt like a hard slab pressed against my back. When I open my eyes now, I actually feel energetic for the first time. A sly giggle escapes me. Today, coffee won't be necessary. I stretch out my limbs, emitting a groan as my back arches and my butt shakes from how satisfying the stretch is. Looking around, I'm faced with an unfamiliar room. The last thing I remember from yesterday was sitting on Gray's lap after telling him about Jake. Is this Gray's room? Shades of gray, white, and black dominate the space. Aptly so. Thankfully, he didn't take me home. I glance down at the black comforter and notice how enormous the bed is. I could spend the entire day here. At the foot of the bed, there's a door, presumably leading to the bathrooms. I need to brush away this dreadful bad breath, but I'm not exactly eager to get up or rummage through his bathroom. Heaven knows what I might find. Preparation H, hopefully not, a wig. His hair better be real. What if his toilet paper isn't Charmin Ultra Soft? Sorry, but I can't wipe myself with sandpaper. I shift my gaze to the other side of the room. The door out stands slightly ajar. I could never live alone. Making executive or any important decisions is impossible for me. I always imagine the worst possible outcomes. If I head to the bathrooms, who knows, Gray might be using it and I'd walk right in. If I go out the door, Gray could faint from either my breath or how I look right now. Suddenly, the door bursts open. For a moment, I think the SWAT team is coming for me, and I let out a frightened squeal. Then a huge creature leaps onto my bed, locking eyes with me. I'm speechless, my stare wide. Maybe if I stay frozen, I'll survive. Bear, Gray's voice fills the room. No wonder this pup looks like a bear, holy guacamole. Bear's black fur nearly blends in with the comforter, and he towers over me even while I'm sitting. Bear ignores Gray, and I can't tear my eyes away from him. His puppy-like face lets out a playful whine. He jumps around like a fox bounding through snow, causing me to giggle softly. He's a big fluffball, then he plops his massive body down on the bed and rolls over. He wants a rub. Gray's deep voice reaches my ears, and I don't hesitate to rub Bear's belly. Is this your puppy? I ask excitedly, looking up at Gray for the first time. He stands leaning against the door frame, returning my gaze with a curt nod. Growing up, I always wanted a dog, but we never had one because both my dad and Jake were allergic. Bear suddenly sits up and licks my face with his huge tongue. I wince as his tongue glides over my bruised cheek. What kind of dog is he? I giggle as Bear settles right on top of me, and he's definitely not a small dog. A Newfoundland. As I pull my dress down, realizing Gray might be getting a bit of a show. Whatever you need is in the bathroom, he says, nodding his head toward the door I'd been contemplating entering for some time. Does that mean he'll be in there too? I almost slap myself for even thinking that. I get out of bed, suddenly realizing my knee brace isn't on. Thank goodness, that thing is definitely uncomfortable to sleep with. I sense Gray's gaze fixed on me the entire time. Glancing back over my shoulder, I see him inspecting the items in my trunk. His eyes move slowly from my rear up to meet mine. I catch myself staring at his lips as his tongue flicks at the corner of his mouth. A small smirk pulls at that corner before his eyes snap back to Bear. He whistles softly, and the two of them leave the room. I exhale deeply, realizing I hadn't noticed I was holding my breath. Gray stirs something inside me. He makes me way too hot and bothered to just be friends, but I don't want to get hurt. Within 20 minutes of our kiss, he'd called it a mistake, and I cried for a week afterward. I just want to avoid that pain again. Limping, or more like moseying, into the bathroom, I conclude that if this is Gray's place, he must be loaded. Can owning just one restaurant really explain all this? Maybe I need to own one myself. Or better yet, what if a strip club could bring even more money? I steal a glance at myself in the mirror. My hair's a wild mess, blonde strands sticking up with static, and honestly, I look like a lion. After taming the front, I spin around to check the back. My eyes catch my rear, noticing how my dress has gathered slightly, leaving the lower cheeks fully exposed. Gray's likely seen it by now. My cheeks flush a bright red, and I quickly try to fix it as if that would change anything. He's already seen it. Running my fingers through the back of my hair to smooth it out, I look down at the sleek granite sink and spot a toothbrush still in its package. How sweet of him to bring that for me. I brush my teeth and wash my face, then notice the obvious bruise on my cheekbone. Crud, I mutter, glancing around for any makeup he might have to cover it up. Of course, I find nothing. Just keep your head down, I tell myself. As after using the restroom, I wash my hands and leave the bathroom. I grab my brace off his dresser, put it back on, then head toward the door. Peeking out, I see a surprisingly large hallway. I turn left, why not? The walls are mostly bare, no pictures to be seen, making the space feel a little empty. I note spots where a small table with flowers could add some charm. I might have a knack for interior design. Taking a few turns, I come across an empty living room, so I double back and try the other direction. This place must be an apartment or something. Eventually, I find a living area that actually looks lived in. The TV is on, playing some kind of show. Moving further inside, a huge kitchen sits to my left. Suddenly, Bear charges at me full force. I brace myself just before Gray whistles once sharply and Bear stops. He's a puppy hyper as all get out. Gray appears from the kitchen. Just seeing him makes the place feel almost homey. Of course, Bear helps too. How old is he? I ask, running my hand over his enormous head. 9 months, Gray says softly, eyes softened as he looks down at Bear. I nearly squeal at the thought of Gray being tender toward a puppy. I can't fathom that he's only 9 months old and already this big. I glance at the clock behind him and notice it's 9:30. That's later than I normally get up, but I'm not complaining. I slept incredibly well. I watch as he takes a step closer and I shift my focus back to him. His eyes glare sharply, his jaw clenched, and his eyebrows are deeply furrowed in anger. Gray, I start to question him, but I stop when his strong hands grab my face. A warmth spreads through me as his finger gently traces the bruise on my cheekbone. Where the fuck did that come from? His voice growls, and I scramble for a lie. I sleep wildly. I probably hit myself in the face. I say with a shrug, trying to keep my voice steady. I'm not convinced it's possible to bruise your face that badly by accident, but whatever. Thank God I had makeup on it yesterday to help sell the lie. He doesn't look like he believes it, though. That wouldn't leave a bruise like that, he says, his voice tense and tight. Well, I'm just crazy strong, I quip. Imagine the harm I could do to others. It's okay, I gesture a nod when he still looks far from happy. He leans forward and gently kisses the bruise. My heart swells and my breath catches in my throat. That's friendly, right? Sort of, I don't care. Good. His deep voice murmurs against me quietly. Speechless at such tenderness, I simply nod. Is your restaurant doing well? I ask, glancing around. Nothing in this whole apartment looks cheap. I bet his shirt is worth more than I am, and it's just a dark blue long sleeve. I kind of miss seeing his tattoos and those forearm veins. Can you take your shirt off? My eyes widen slightly at what just slipped out of my mouth. So your restaurant, you want my shirt off? He asks, sounding like he's teasing me to the point I want to jump out the window, even more than usual. Well, your restaurant and bar, I guess. I steer the conversation away from the shirt issue. Yes or no? His eyes narrow playfully as he tilts his head. 100% yes. Yes or no? I don't know how to answer that. I look away from him. I know you've been eyeing my gluteus maximus. I switch subjects. Who's embarrassed now? I was, he admits, looking utterly unashamed. Now I'm stuck at a crossroads. You liked it, didn't you? I blurt before pressing my lips together to hold back any more nonsense. Of course, he says shamelessly, a small smile tugging at his lips that nearly takes my breath away. I look to Bear for support. He just returns a dog-like smile. Don't you have a restaurant to go tend to? I ask, and if Bear understood, he'd be laughing. Where did you sleep? I question. As I would have known if he shared the bed with me, I would have been overheated all night. He gestures toward the couch, and I feel bad. He lives here, he shouldn't have been the one sleeping on the couch. I feel bad, I wince. I'll sleep with you next time then. Wait with me, wait next time. Wait, I'm okay with that. Wait, is that sexy time or just sleeping? Sex? Don't answer that, it's not friendly, I blurt out. Whatever you want, he replies with a shrug, disregarding my request not to respond. My cheeks flush. Hungry? He asks, as if he hadn't just suggested we have sexual sexy time. For what? I say, stunned at myself. Food, duh, you talk about sex a lot, he comments with a smirk, his hands settling on my sides. If he continues, I might have a heart attack. I have sex a lot, I retort. With who? His grip tightens, his eyes darken, and his eyebrows furrow in displeasure. Do you? He states, not even phrased as a question, pulling me closer. No, I say, catching sight of my hair tie wrapped around his wrist and smile faintly. It looks tight on his broad wrist, given the difference in our sizes. He's no small guy. He lifts me effortlessly and I gasp. My butt slides onto his kitchen counter as my heart races. He holds my waist, pressing me flush against him. Memories of the time we kissed flood my mind as he leans in, his eyes locked on my lips. Not another one. I wrap my arms around his neck and simply hug him. He stiffens for a moment before relaxing, returning the embrace around my torso. "I'm sorry," he murmurs. "For what?" I ask gently, pulling back to look into his mesmerizing dark eyes. Actually, they're not black. Up close, I see they're a deep brown. "For everything, I was bad to you," he admits, his thumbs tracing circles on my side. It tickles slightly, but I try not to show it. "That was before we reintroduced ourselves," I say, fingertips exploring the strong muscles of his back, my cheeks warming. He had been mean. "For saying kissing you was a mistake," he adds. "It fucking wasn't." He tucks a stray strand of my hair behind my ear, now fully seeing my face. "For never being friendly," he refers to how he nearly kissed me and a few other occasions. "You deserve better," he says. "We started over, remember?" I remind him. "I'll only be a couple of minutes," I say with a smile, carefully climbing out of his Jeep. "Are you sure you don't want me to come inside?" He asks, eyebrows creasing when I shake my head. "And no, I'll be quick," I reply, closing the door behind me and making my way to my front door. Now that Dad's lost his job, I'm guessing he's home all the time, which only makes me dread going home even more. I open the door hesitantly and step inside. I glance around the living room and kitchen for any sign of him but see none. Maybe he's sleeping in his room. I ascend the stairs quietly, careful not to make noise in case he isn't asleep. I enter my bedroom and find it completely trashed. My bed is off its frame, covers scattered everywhere. My overturned dresser has its built-in mirror shattered on the floor. The closet doors are ripped from their hinges, with clothes strewn all over the ground. Stupid tears well up in my eyes. The only safe place I thought I had is destroyed. I find my father sitting on the floor, holding a bottle of some kind of alcohol. "Where have you been all night?" he slurs. I press myself against the doorframe, too frightened to approach. "A friend's," I whisper. "A boy, wasn't it?" he accuses. "Don't think I've forgotten about that hickey you had," he sneers, and I instinctively shrink back into the doorframe. "Your brother would be so disgusted seeing you whoring yourself around." A tear trickles down my cheek at the mere mention of Jake. He begins to rise, stumbling over himself twice before finally standing tall and looming over me. "Exactly," he slurs. "You smell just like a man." He shoves his bulky frame against mine as he walks out, knocking me onto my side. Hastily, I shut my door behind him and lock it, releasing a heavy breath. Surveying my trashed room, I bite my trembling lip. Not wanting to keep Gray waiting for long and anxious that my father might spot him in the driveway, I quickly select clothes. I throw on black shorts, a white sports bra because my boobs need a break from a tight bra after last night, a slightly oversized hoodless Tennessee sweatshirt, and my cherished flip-flops. In the bathroom, I grab another hair tie and a scrunchie for my wrist and blink rapidly to soothe my red eyes from crying. I spot my charger tangled in my comforter on the floor, then open the door. Peeking outside, I mutter "freak it" and descend the stairs, catching sight of my father lying on the couch. Quiet as possible, I make my way to the front door, exhaling in relief as I close it behind me. Opening the car door with care, I climb in, exhaling as I struggle a little. Where are your pants, Lila? He asks sincerely. I just walked out here without them. I'm not wearing any, I say, shrugging slightly. He stays silent, probably surprised or something. I simply turn up the radio. AC/DC filters into the car, and I bite my lip in excitement, mouthing the words to You Shook Me All Night Long, a classic that remains one of my favorites by them. My absolute favorite is Big Balls, not just for the title, but because the lyrics are dirtier than that. The entire song is full of innuendo, not about the male anatomy, despite what it sounds like. Gotta love big balls, that's what she said, arriving at the town square Gray Park smoothly. Stepping out, he makes me a bit jealous. Suddenly, my door swings open. He unbuckles my seatbelt and turns me to face him. Lifting my sweatshirt, he eyes my legs. What if I wasn't wearing any shorts? I raise an eyebrow and a sly smirk tugs at his lips. I'll just keep my thoughts to myself, he replies, swiping his tongue over the corner of his mouth. His hands grip the top of my shorts, tucking a bit of my sweatshirt into them. You're skinny, he remarks, studying my stomach, which is fairly flat, except for the small roll I've affectionately named Pat since I'm sitting, and I blush just a little. Gosh darn, that's something many girls would love to hear. You hungry a lot? He asks, and I laugh out loud. Let's eat, he decides, lifting me and setting me gently on the ground. With burning cheeks and his large hand engulfing mine, he leads me to his restaurant, walking slowly so I can keep up. I ate a whole pizza by myself. I eat enough, I smile, recalling the delicious pizza. It was a small, he teases, offending me. Is that a challenge? He glances down at me, lifting one shoulder slightly. I might need to stash a few slices in my bra, but I'll still finish them. Holding the door to his restaurant bar open, he lets me step inside. Jai spots me immediately and grins. Then his eyes widen in surprise when he notices Gray. While enjoying my delicious waffles, syrup this time, I watch as Gray's fingers stretch and fumble with the hair tie I gave him yesterday. Suddenly it snaps and he just stares at it in his hand like, what do I do now? I finish the last bite of my waffle with a small smile. Setting my fork down, I stand up. His eyes snap to me, following me as I slide into the booth beside him, never losing his gaze or fiddling with the broken hair tie. Did you break it? I already know the answer, but I'm curious what he'll say. I didn't mean to, he answers softly, his jaw tightening in frustration. I literally have them scattered all over my once neat room. It's okay, I reassure him, smiling. Gently, I take the broken tie from his hand and remove a scrunchie from my wrist. Good luck breaking this one, buddy. This one won't snap, and look, I lean closer, showing him the color. It's gray. It's pretty soft, too, I say, running my finger over the fabric before turning my attention back to him. He's already looking at me. I've probably got syrup smudged on my face. I hold it out and he takes it. I watch as he explores the texture, adjusting to the difference between the scrunchie and a normal hair tie. All done, Jai's voice sounds beside me. I glance up at him, still smiling from watching Gray, and nod. He gathers the plates, gives me a sly wink, and heads back to the kitchen. You can keep that, I say, nodding to the scrunchie. And if you wear it on your wrist, it won't leave a mark like the other one. It's not as tight. I imagine Gray wearing a scrunchie on his wrist and smile quietly. I trace the neckline of his shirt. Just barely peeking over the edge at the top of his collarbone is part of a tattoo. A tattoo I want to see more than anything. How many tattoos does he have? More than just his sleeve. I used to want a tattoo on my butt, I blurt out, remembering when I was 12 and dreamed of a tiny butterfly tattoo at the top of my butt. Of course, I'd never actually get one or any tattoo at all. After all the needles and IVs I've had, I'm done with needles forever. Show me where. He asks, glancing at me with slightly raised eyebrows. Is he teasing me, lost in my own world of what just happened? I don't notice Jai returning until he speaks. Bill, he inquires. Gray owns this place. Fuck outta here, Gray waves his hand, eyebrows scrunched. I giggle a bit when Jai chuckles. Tip, he asks. You're not getting shit, Gray nudges my side as he rises from the booth. I start feeling guilty, but Jai's smile doesn't waver. Sneaking a $20 bill from my phone case, I nudge Jai while his back is turned and hand it to him. No, no, he shakes his head, refusing the money. I'll slice it into tiny bits and jam it up your nose, I say with a timid smile. Just take it. His eyes widen slightly before his lips curve into a playful grin. His gaze flickers over to Gray. Jai shakes his head and eventually accepts it. God, what a showdown, whatever that means. Thanks for reading. P.S. Y'all should definitely listen to the song Big Balls by AC/DC. You absolutely won't regret it.